Let's get it. How is everyone doing on this wonderful Friday? Getting ready for the weekend. It'll be interesting to see if today we get a rally to to keep moving up and get above that previous CPI number where all the fear set in and drove the market down, or will they close this gap that we're going to be opening up on most likely and head back down to look for these single prints? It is interesting today, and something that I could imagine, or possibly wouldn't be surprised, I guess, is if we see a bit of balance in between our single prints here. So if our daily profile ends up shaping up here, we get up to this level where there's some longs that are still trapped, they start covering, brings us back down, get down here, and we start to see those shorts start covering and get a bit of balance leading into the weekend. So far with Globex, we can see overnight inventory is pretty much 90% long. That sales number that came out, the core sales number that came out, was a bullish number, and that kind of propelled the market to the upside after looking down back at the settle one more time, and the market started to squeeze up. So good odds that we definitely open up on a gap, and gap rules will apply. Let me turn my mic down. It looks like it's a little bit too loud. I don't want to be bursting anyone's eardrums. There we go. Morning, Kevin. Morning, Peter. Let's see if the stream is live. Go. Hi. All right. Let's take a look around real quick around the market. Let's make this big and see what we're getting pre-market from some of these bigger names. Oh, and actually let me update my gamma levels before we get started. Oh, market's starting to rally again. Buyers are showing up higher and higher. Okay, so we can see Apple pre-market is going to be opening up on a gap as well. Microsoft looks like it might be opening up on a gap as well. Google the same. Amazon the same. Tesla really close. Even Brookshire, UNH is gapping up. Johnson & Johnson looks like it's on the upside. Visa gapping up. Even Meta, the gapping up above its zero gamma level. Nvidia gapping up, right? Nancy Pelosi yesterday announced that she was going to be buying $11 million worth of Nvidia, and then about 3 hours later they announced that Nvidia is going to be making chips in America. Surprise, surprise, maybe insider information. And when I say maybe, I mean definitely. ExxonMobil's gapping up. Procter Gamble's looking like the upside here. JP Morgan as well. MasterCard not really doing anything. Home Depot on the up. Pfizer, Coca-Cola's on the ups. Chevron, Abivai. We're looking at Bank of America, MRK, Pepsi, Costco, Verizon. So really, I mean, going through these or just scanning through these, we kind of see that the participation in this overnight market rally is looking more like full market participation than just getting driven by tech or one of the or the energy sector, which has kind of been the only way that we've been getting upside lately, is if energy or tech really starts to pile in. Some news coming out right now. Amazon's drone delivery is coming to Texas. Elon Musk says if inflation claims down, we can lower prices for cars. Yeah, whatever. Calms down, he can lower prices for cars. Oil futures are up. Let's take a peek at all the futures real quick as well. Yeah, oil's up about 2% right now. The ES up about 1%. Gold flat. Nasdaq up about 1%. Russell 0.8. The Dow's up 1.1. So we're starting to see some pretty decent activity coming in early on in the session, getting into these single prints up here. Morning, Trin. What time is it? So we still got about 25 minutes until the market opens. And remember, right where these single prints are at, we expand this to, this is kind of that high of that previous balance. So we did a little, there we go. We did a break into balance, acceptance, look below balance. We found responsive buyers. We were not able to close that gap. Remember, gaps act as excess. Came back inside balance in the overnight session, and well, we came back into balance yesterday during the cash session, but the overnight session has taken us up to the high. That was first time on Zoom, been watching on YouTube for a while. Well, welcome, man. Appreciate it. Just remember to like the YouTube video if you don't mind. But now we're testing that high of balance, right? And so with the test of this high of balance, we'll be looking to see if some of these sellers are going to be active up here, or if the market is going to continue to find buying and push the market up. So good odds that we get a cessation of one time framing on the daily chart today. And if we look on the weekly chart here, charts. We can see in order to break that weekly one time framing to the downside, we're going to be looking at the market having to get above the 39.22. So still some pretty decent movement. That's going to be all the way up here until the market can have that cessation of one time framing on the weekly chart. But it is getting some juice here as the market's starting to go up. Some decent sized orders coming in here too. Put this thing back on Apple. Apple's been kind of the leader this week. If you've seen the trade view, I post the year-to-date performance for all the indices or all the equities in the S&P 500, and Apple really is the only one that's got back above that 20%, negative 20% level, and has started to continue on to the upside. Bullard GDP numbers is likely currently misleading. U.S. June industrial production due 9:15 a.m. So in about, what's that, 5 minutes? Well, can we do this? Buddies. Is there like a clock in here? I think there is. I thought there was a time thing. Current time. Maybe not. So interesting here, we get up into these single prints and we start to see some covering going on. Some profit taking from these longs. So it'll be interesting today, and if we wanted to just do a little recap while we have some time of yesterday, at least what my perspective of yesterday was, is, we had the initial open on a gap lower, fail to close, a liquidation, right? But then they found responsive buyers, started leaving mechanical references behind. The market was able to squeeze up, got a little bit too long, came back down, cleaned up one of these references, but left a weak low behind, wasn't able to clean up that other mechanical reference, showing us a lack of supply. And then the market just squeezed up for the rest of the day, finishing up right inside yesterday's value, or right below yesterday's value. That's kind of what I was going to be looking for today, was going to be acceptance up inside this previous day's value. Given the current Globex session, we've already kind of, traded all the way to the opposite edge, and that's showing us, possibly some long liquidation up here, taking profit, and that could lead us into a balanced session today. There is some news that comes out about 30 minutes after the market opens. Let me look at this economic calendar real quick. We get, the retail inventories coming out about 30 minutes after the market opens, and the Michigan consumer sentiment, Michigan consumer expectations, business inventories, industrial production month over month comes out in 2 minutes. If you are joining us for the first time, remember to go ahead and bang that like button. I actually drank a bang today. First time in a while. I'd kind of stopped drinking bangs because they were messing up my stomach, and then I had to, I had some health issues for a while and made me have to take some time off the charts. But, slowly, every once in a while, I guess, all things in moderation. But this one is called Nectarine Blueberry. I'd never seen it before, so I figured, hey, why not? And it's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, if you're joining us for the first time, bang that like button, and then go ahead and drop a thumbs up in the chat. If you are in the Discord, if you're not in the Discord, put a comment down below the video and say, hey, I want to join the Discord. How do I join the Discord? And, we will get you hooked up. Did I hear Bang is getting sued for music infringement? I didn't. What was it, for like a commercial or something? That's kind of funny. Peter, thank you for liking the stream on Facebook. All of their ads on TikTok. Oh, I bet a lot of people are probably getting in trouble for that. But I wonder because it's not like I wonder who they go after. Right? Can you go after the person individually? Especially if you just post stuff on TikTok and there's no monetary value, but I guess Bang is if it's an advertisement, they're probably making money off of it. So, whatever. I mean, let them, those companies, they're good to get sued. TJ, good morning. The Sorensen family channel, if anyone is not subscribed to that channel, definitely click on that and subscribe to that channel. TJ puts out good videos, informative videos to keep you up to date on a whole plethora of things. So click on his name right here and go to his channel. Oh, it won't do it. Post that link for your channel right here, right below, TJ, so everyone can click on it and go subscribe. But yeah, that's kind of funny. And you know what? Whatever. It's crazy that they're getting sued for something like that, but Nancy Pelosi can just buy a bunch of Nvidia stocks, and then all of a sudden Nvidia goes up a gigantic percentage, and no one bats an eye. They're like, oh yeah, work in Congress should be fine. Yeah, of course, bro. That's what the community's all about. Just post the link to your channel because when I clicked on your picture right now, it doesn't take me anywhere. Let me try to find this clock real quick because I know there is one. I've seen it before. Is it showing it? Oh, maybe it can't show it with the next bar. Let's do this countdown timer. There we go. So it is 9:17. That's good enough. We'll know. We don't need a countdown timer. I do want to change the color though. Setting green. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You can move that clock.
Oh, that's a good idea too. Move it up here to the top right. Clock. Setting. On the left. Let's go 100. Well,
That's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. It should move.
well,
And
that's
that
all right.
one is in the bottom. You moved it to the bottom, by the way. Whenever it updates, it's going to move to the bottom.
Oh, well. I'll figure it out this weekend. Make it look good. Oh, you can click and drag your clock? Oh shit, son, look at nice. Now let's just put it right here. Good call.
What? I had no idea you could do
I like it.
that. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you. So 10 minutes until the market opens. Yes, there is a decent amount of options expiry today. Nothing as crazy as last month when we had that triple witching, but there is a decent amount of options expiring today. And we can imagine probably there's a lot of puts that are going to be expiring today, especially when that CPI number came out. A lot of puts got bought. So if we get back inside this previous day's balance here, or inside this previous day's value, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of short covering, and that could drive us back up to that T2 high, and you could get a huge rally on our hands. And this is kind of what I was saying in the trade view from yesterday, is when these balance areas start to get really close together, according to Jim Dalton, that's saying that the trend is getting a little bit stale or a little bit old. We've been in a downtrend that, could be that signal. And like I said, I'm not saying that there is no more downside, but just that it's getting a little bit stale, meaning if we are going to get any more downside, we're going to need some responsive sellers at higher prices, or some initiated sellers at these lower prices to come in and move the market down. If we switch back over to here real quick, we could take a look at the ES on the daily. So we can kind of see, right, we have a balance area here, balance area here, balance area here, balance, balance, a little bit of balance up here, and then now we're one time framing down. So all of these balance areas are starting to overlap with each other, meaning that, it could be, they could be getting ready to cover. So that target is going to be here, right, to fill in this gap that we've been holding for, what day was this? I mean, over a month now. This was like the 5th or something. What day is this? The 10th. I mean, so we've been holding this gap since the 10th, letting us know that there is some liquidity that's, probably some bigger money that's still trapped above. Bigger money doesn't necessarily have to fold their hand right away. They're able to hold their positions a little bit longer than, most people. So as we get back into this gap, if there is a nice little short covering rally, basically we're kind of set up here as far as breaking a trend. You've got this 50 SMA here, which I think we'll see some mechanical selling off of, but I think I think it's gonna, that they're gonna flip. It's short-term time frame traders that trade off moving averages. So if we get above it and hold, you're gonna see everyone in the whole world start to just buy going into the weekend, and could possibly get up into that gap. That's gonna take a decent amount of volume. Caesar, good morning, man. How are you? It's going to take a decent amount of volume to get up there. One thing I do want to note too is, as we've been on this move to the downside, we have seen increasing volume, right? So move down, increasing volume, open interest is slowly getting a little bit more. So, I don't think we've seen like a really capitulation day, but yesterday we did see a cleanup of these previous week lows and good excess. So there is opportunity for the upside. We don't want to just, flip to the buy side and just only think that the market's going to go up, but we definitely want to understand that it is possible, and don't just be getting short based off of the, market sentiment right now. Because I would say the market sentiment, inflation's high, everything's high, that there's all this nuclear talk with Japan now, and Iran and Israel, and the EU saying that they're not going to back the United States with that Israel Iran situation. So a lot of conflict coming on. Biden just got done with in Saudi Arabia, right? So, possible oil reserves and things like that, right? There's just a lot of economic events that are transpiring kind of all at the same time that I think lead most people to the downside. I know Jared told me yesterday, even before we got off the stream, that the market was going to go back down. I said, oh, we're going to go at 3804. And, you know, this Jared he's probably right here trapped still. So, and that you guys know how I use Jared as my, he's like the Jim Cramer indicator. Jim Cramer says something's going to go up. Well, you better buy some puts because that shit's going down for sure. But you got to think about when Jim Cramer used to be a trader, he was trading mostly long term, you know, so he wasn't really just getting into a position and then getting out the same day how we are. And that's the thing is we've got to maintain perspective when it comes to a lot of these things, because you can get this analysis paralysis, or I can't remember what Jim Dalton calls it. Cognitive dissonance, I think he calls it. And so, let's adjust my stop real quick. There is an overwhelming amount of, you know, research or looking into the market for the next day that we do, you know, and if you check out the trade view, you'll see, you know, I do kind of a top-down approach, monthly, weekly, daily, profile, and then some economic data. Volume is important as well. And so a lot of times when we do this top-down approach, we can get this, you know, this bearish look, right? Like, and that's why I put today, you got to maintain perspective. The monthly, the weekly, and the daily are all one time framing to the downside, meaning that longer term money is short, right? Or it has been short. Not to say that the market can't rally, and obviously we're seeing that we're opening up on a pretty significant gap. We'll call this a double gap. You know, I just made that up. It's not a real thing. But you know, it's important to maintain perspective, because if bigger traders are short and they decide to respond to these higher prices and keep pushing the market down, right, we do have this gap up here that they are, you know, they could easily still be willing to defend. And we have two very psychological numbers, 3,900, 4K, right? If we take a peek at the VIX is sitting at 25, so it has come down about 3%, but there is still opportunity. 25 puts us in about a 1.5% move. If we take 38, let's see, percent. That's about 57 points, which would take us right to that 3,900 level. And if we look up here, the 3,900 level is going to be a cleanup of this poor high, and then, you know, back into that high of the range, and it's going to get us that cessation of one time framing on the weekly. So, you know, it's pretty clear we've got about 2 minutes left until the market opens, that we're going to get a cessation of one time framing on the daily, and it's just, you know, are we going to get that cessation of one time framing on the weekly? And that can tell you the exact opposite too. So now that we have this gap below that didn't close, now these longer term traders are kind of in a fight with each other. And that's pretty typical in a market like this, where people really don't know what's going on, and so they're just positioning the way that they are feeling. Let's go ahead and get our first call going. Oh, hang on, let me share the sound with the Zoom so they can also get motivated. All right, let's get it. All right, who's ready, motivated to get it? Opening up on a gap. Remember, overnight inventory is 90% long, maybe even 100. Watch for that counter auction off of the open. Doesn't look like it's getting anything. Market opens above those single prints. Watch for short covering to just come out, and this thing can get back above that CPI level. Target up here, that 38.50. Back inside yesterday, or T2 value here. Look to get accepted inside a previous day's value, and then that's where the trade will be. Strong market won't break the open. So if there is supply in the market, we should break the open. If not, you might have had a flip where we left single prints before. We're going to leave them again on the opposite side. Remember, this is going to act as excess. I can show you. You guys hear the Inferno on ETH? No, I didn't. What happened? Seller sitting here at the 47 half. See if they're going to be able to hold this thing down. Moving down a bit here. So we have our first half pipe formed, come back down into some volume, the buyers step up, and then sellers bash their head right in. So sellers are trying to offer this level, buyers are trying to buy it. Real tight range so far in this open, but we still have not broken below the open. These sellers look like they're moving out of the way. Big offer up here at the 40, or at the 50, I mean, 421 lots. Still no real correction of overnight inventory yet. Above that 48, they should go try to tag that 50. That's where all the liquidity is sitting at. Big seller sitting on the 50 here, trying to hold this price down. What happened, Dre, on ETH? I didn't hear it. Take a peek at the breadths. 7-1 on the NYSE, 2-1, almost 3-1 on the NASDAQ. Still healthcare is red, industrials, staples, energy, utilities, materials, and real estate red. We have, let me switch this back to Apple. Apple's kind of been the driver today. We can see Apple's coming back down a little bit off of this initial open, but still hanging out above its open. Remember, a strong market won't break the open, but it does look like they want to get back and test into some of these single prints here. Ooh, sellers are trapped at this 43.25 here. There they go. Mechanical buying off the open. above, what is this, 43 quarter, you'll start to see short covering to the upside. They need to get back below. These sellers really need to get back down into these single prints. The gap above those single prints was not ideal for them. But here's that 43 quarter. I think above here, yeah, there goes. Sellers starting to get nervous. The breath has cooled off a little bit, 5-1. Apple's still kind of picking up here. Can see the tick opened way up, 1500. We see the ADSPD opened up 3. All put is 69-1. Thank you, Uncle Stacy. One more look again below that 43. See if they can push it back down below the open. Seems like every time we get close to those single prints, everyone just starts to cover their shorts and the market starts to bounce. 26 contracts traded on that low. Do have some offers moving down. That reoffer levels at 42 so far. So notice the tempo. The tempo is just so slow, right? And look at this opening range is just very tight. And that's just kind of the definition of an unsure market. There goes the break of that open into some of these single prints. The breath is really cooled down here. Look at that 2.7 to 2. Back and forth above and below the open is really showing the market's uncertainty here. Some volume moving down on the 42, 43, right? These guys are starting to stack. Buyers trying to step in here, but sellers meeting the bid demand. Remember, we opened up on a gigantic gap, right? The gap is all the way down to here. And so basically with it opening up on a gap, you'd have to convince buyers at higher prices to start initiating longs. And, you know, if they're willing to do that, hasn't really been yet to be seen. We got above that CPI number and then came right back down after that bid on the 50 of 400 lots. Looks like it spooked the market back below. Market really trying to just kind of decide what it wants to do. Offers moving down here on the 36, so they're trying to smother the price. Sellers trapped on 35 right there, previous high. So watch for volume to come in. We got a ton of volume overhead. Market was able to push down. We have a very weak spot in the profile here, right? You can almost consider that single prints. We get a little bit of volume, prices below it. So above this volume, probably expect it to come back here. If they're not able to get below it, we'll be targeting lower areas here, back inside yesterday's range. And then a response from inside yesterday's range, or acceptance inside yesterday's range, probably bring us back down to that TPOC around 38.16. Remember, this profile on the right side, if you're just joining us or haven't been with us for a while, is showing the last 30 minutes, not the current 30 minutes. So that's why it's extended down a little bit, in case you're confused.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Dad. No counts on AMD. Young Cryptic, good morning. So the market not able to get above that 36 and get into that kind of weak spot on the structure that looks like right at 36.75 here. Volume is still pretty light. Above that 36.75, you might see some short covering, but this reoffer level here is 34. They're trying to keep it inside the previous day's range, and that previous day's high is right at the top of these single prints. And this is a T2 high here. So if people are short from this T2 level, we can kind of expect as we get back inside here some short covering to happen, right? If they're short and they get back close to their range, they want to buy their position back in order to not take as much of a significant loss as they are, looking at here with this huge gap from today. I mean, this gap is, what is this? 3,800 to, it's almost 30 handles gap. It is. It's about 30-point gap. So pretty significant gap, I feel like. And we're watching right here, this 36.75, 37 level. Pop above that, there might be a little bit short covering. These sellers need to hold price below that. So far today, value is higher, but we're still early in the session. Looks like some buyers trying to take profit right here. People that bought that low. Watch this 36.75 level. Seller's still sitting there. Other news, we got the VA inspector coming out on the 12th not the 12th, next Monday. So as long as everything goes well, it should be in my new house by August 12th. So that'll be nice. I don't know how long it will take to get the internet set up over there, so there may be a little bit of a break in the stream, couple days or something like that. Hopefully not too long though. Month or weekly VWAP is down here at 38.14. It does look like there's really just buy stops all the way down here. Watch for these sellers to flip on this 38.30. There's a really weak spot in the profile at 29.5, but there was buyers on the 30 and they kind of flipped. So if they cover down here, we can kind of expect them to uh, bring the price back up a little bit to 32 maybe. Remember, the market's looking for acceptance inside this value area from a previous day. Call put count is tightening, 84-14 now. Eldora, good morning. Watch the 29.50 level here. We've seen buyers get trapped twice now, 36.75 and 29.50. There we go. Pop back up. Sellers try to reoffer this level. If they're unable to, probably be looking around that 34 level. Yeah, 33, 34 is what it looks like. $65.59, so the call put ratio is really tightening. You can see information technology has flipped to red. We can start to see the tick really trying to push below, and our weighted sectors are starting to turn down here in our weighted AD code. Gordon, you're pathetic. Okay, just relax. There's that 33. Let's see if these sellers want to reoffer this level or if that was just all they had. It does look like these sellers kind of trapped right here at around this 33, 32 level. They need to hold it below. That offer's gotten a little bit thinner, sitting up there on the 50, down from 400 to about 278. So that could just mean that they're chasing that price down. Definitely seems like sellers are more active as far as, or more aggressive, excuse me, as far as jumping down into these bids so far. But still, no crazy pushback down. Remember, the gap is all the way back down to here to that 3,800. $38 contracts traded on the low here. You're starting to see some bids step up. They're just getting swallowed up. The 3 contracts trapped on the low tick right there. So definitely some short covering right there off those lows. So double test of those lows. Sellers unwilling to move down yet. See if they get it this time. Ooh, big orders trading right there on the 26.75. There they go. Really thin volume here through Globex all the way down until like the 3,800, right? It could be looking to close this gap here. $29, $25, 225 on that low there. Weak spot on the profile now is 24.75. And remember, this is what we talked about. We always have to maintain perspective, right? Because we open up on a gap higher, we don't want to get too bullish with the monthly, weekly, and daily trends all pointing to the downside. Yes, we do have a cessation of one time framing on the daily, but the weekly and the monthly, our intermediate and longer term time frames, are still pointing to the downside. We'll look for a reaction off this point of control. If no reaction off this point of control, we can definitely start targeting that prior day high. I haven't taken any trades. I'm just kind of sitting here. You know, I had a long during Globex, but after that pushback down below the open, that took me out, and I've just been kind of chilling. Really just want to let this market kind of settle. I think it's a little bit confusing. We do have some data coming out here at 10 o'clock at the top of the hour. Remember, we still do have some trapped traders from yesterday that were trapped down here in these single prints. So people that were shorting yesterday, based off of the CPI report, end up getting trapped down here. And, they possibly could have been squeezed out overnight. Maybe get that margin call overnight, which is what possibly caused this gap up. But, I kind of doubt it. Our weekly VWAP is at 38.15. Look at the breadth really coming down here. So we started off around like 7 and 3, and everything's flipped to red. Information technology. Look at Apple's come back down into its Globex range. Some short covering coming in right here off the lows. Weak spot is really the next weak spot up is kind of like 36.5. These sellers did a pretty decent job on this way down offering, so. Decent sized buying coming on this 26 quarter here. ADSP's down, Volt is down as well. Seems like we are seeing sell pressure come on. Yeah, I think so. I think these sellers did a pretty decent job after we got below the open, and made the decision. What I would like to see is, if we're going to get continuation to the downside, is see some volume move down and match it. There we go. That's what we were looking for. Remember, this is probably just short covering here, so sellers need to get below that in order to continue. We have around, what's it say, 900. Yeah, about, and the low tick is about 175, 180. Remember, as long as these sellers keep it below this 36.5, I think that there's still opportunity for some downside. But as soon as we get above that 36.5, I'm probably abandon a short trade if I was in a trade. I'm taking it pretty light today. Had a decent week. Don't want to get too crazy on a Friday, right? I'm definitely like to watch the market on Friday, but I definitely tend to trade less on Fridays. Bullard, I take the yield curve inversion seriously as a signal. I think this time it's different on a yield curve. So basically, Bullard is saying that, well, if you guys don't know, typically when the yield curve inverts, it's a sign 100% of the time, and history has been a predictor of a future recession. Bullard is just saying that he thinks maybe this time it's wrong. So, is he right? Is he wrong? There's no way to know for sure. Damn, Jake, that's ass. That was a nice spot too. Oh, dude, that's so annoying. It's that I've had that happen a couple times this week, dude. Like, just not getting the fills. I don't know what the deal is, but it's just, well, I don't know. It's maybe due to low liquidity or what it is. Just the choppiness of the market. But yeah, it's happened a couple times this week as well, which is pretty fucking annoying. So as we come back up into the 30s here, we've got the VWAP up here around 36 as well, and that's that weak spot on the profile, 36.5. Above that, you'll probably see even more short covering as these people get nervous that are short down here from the 22. Market is pretty choppy, not really closing that gap, right? And we always want to kind of go with the gap, so there's opportunity on both sides. Yes. I don't know. I'm not really looking to get into a short until we close the gap. I don't trust it. There goes B period. Right up to the 34 here. Oh, holy Jesus. Oh, short covering rally. Oh my god, it's on. Everyone press the bid. What is going on? So that report must have came out right here. Let me look at Twitter. Wow, that was just outstanding. Breaking University of Michigan sentiment prelim 51.1. So a big turn of events there, popped up, popped back down, and here we go off to the races there. Holy mackerel. Talk about some volatility. Going to the moon. Oh, that was nice, dude. I literally just clicked long. I only had one lot on. I got filled right here at 38.34 and taking it out right here 38.49. That was just insane. There's a gap on the fucking, like, there was no bids or offers from like 39 to 36. Like as soon as it cracked that 36, it just jumped like a rocket ship here. So kind of crazy. I'm not really sure what that number is. I'm not really familiar with the economic reports. Like I said, I really just try to trade based off the levels, and so we can go ahead and mark this 36 where we have these single prints. I'll just go ahead and move this now that we've filled these single prints. We'll leave this here. We'll erase this one, and we'll just change this one to. We'll change it to pull. Save. Is that how you spell it? No, Bulse. There we go. So impulse. So above that 36, right? We can, pretty much just assume that the market's going to keep going up. Below that 36, you probably see some liquidation, and possibly get some downside. Actually made the day pretty easy right there, which is cool. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. Pull up Twitter real quick. Oh, sorry guys. That one came on quick. Volume is 1% less than yesterday, so nothing really too crazy. Let's see what they're saying on Twitter about this pop. Breaking news: Michigan consumer sentiment at 51. The 100 basis points odds down to 19. That's kind of the Fed yesterday walking it back. That was, big driver of the upside yesterday. 5-year inflation expectations at a lowest in the year. So, according to Michigan, so that's probably why the 5-year inflation expectations at lowest in a year is what caused that, big short covering rally. I mean, that was a pretty significant move. We went from 36 to 54, jumped about 20 handles in, seconds. Hey, Tommy, how's it going, man? Hopefully you're feeling a little bit better today. Hopefully the heat's not wearing on you too hard. Back to the open. So typically when the market goes back and forth on the open, right, we know that the market's pretty indecisive so far, so we want to be patient, wait for these setups to come. But there definitely is there was a gap of bids and offers right here from about 37 quarter down to about 35 half. So let's see if they can push it down there and try to repair that level. That was kind of wild.
Never seen that before.
When it used to happen all the time in 2018, 2019, and then we started to see it a little bit in 2020. But as 21 came on, the market started to go back to being normal, and yeah, the market's getting a little bit weird lately. A lot of people probably got ran right there. That was weird. You figure, just all it is just that inflation report, but that's a big offer pool right there to let that thing loose. See, the driver today is the unweighted sectors here. Still, unweighted sectors are leading us to the upside compared to the weighted sectors. Apple's still above its open, getting close to one of these gamma levels. Take a peek around the block. The dollar is down. Ooh, shorts are covering right here, guys. Look for a pop. They don't push it back below the open. They might get a little rise up out of these guys. Oh, never mind. Definitely wrong on that one. Whew. They're almost filling in this empty bid gap, though. Shorts are still covering here. But they filled in that. Bid steps up. Break above the open. Probably take us back up to that. These sellers at. Sellers are sitting on the 42 here. Feeling better, Tommy? Good. Good stuff. We're breaking above the open. Watch for the 42. That's where that seller's sitting at, I think. And above that 42 should get a nice little pop. Because we could be immortals. We could be immortals. Immortals. Oh, sorry. Forgot my mic was up. No worries. Sometimes you just feel like singing, you know what I mean? I sing sometimes too. It's good for the soul. Counts are still really low, 516. Yeah, and we can see starting to get a little turnover here. Lower highs on the tick as well. Market not able to stay above, or not really able to get above that 42 this last time. Where I think the seller's sitting at is this 42 level. Market's chilling right on its VWAP right now. The VWAP and the half back, everything's kind of right here. We're back at that impulse as well. Lots of excess here on both sides, and as we keep going back and forth over the open, still seeing a lot of indecision here. Hey, Joe.
Hey, brother.
Good. Let's watch this 42 as we get close to it again. I think a pop of this might get a little bit of a more short covering coming out. The seller's still sitting there, so they're still offering this 42. right back down to and through liquidity. Look at this guy scalping. There's a big scalper scalping on both sides of the open here. Sneaky little fox. So really, we're just looking at shorter term time frame traders inside the, just playing both sides of the open here. Market's really indecisive, just sitting right around the open. Looking for some clear direction. There's that 42, so this is where we expect to get a nice little pop from. Come on, there we go. Next offer level is going to be 50-50. Oh, on another note, I finished my 36th book of the year this year. So far, I've read 36, well, read or listened to. I've read a couple of them, listened to most of them. 36 books this year. So, personal record for me. It really feels good. I really feel like it is opening up a lot of, mental doors for me reading all these books. And, I suggest everyone read as much as you can. I've just had, um, a really good year this year, and I think I test definitely some of my success to a lot of the books that I've read for sure. And if you're not really, if you don't really have if you don't really have great reading comprehension as I don't, I found this app called Good Notes where I can pull up my book and a notepad on the same side on the iPad, and so I can actually read and take notes right side by side. Sometimes it's just a pain you're reading and you don't want to just pull up a notebook and write it down or things like that. So this has helped me definitely just get on the hype train as far as furthering my reading comprehension and being able to understand things a little bit easier. And then also, if you really just hate reading, a lot of books are on audio. There's a website. I'd have to look. I wrote it down somewhere. Um, I saw it on TikTok where all the books are online for free. They're PDFs, but you can download an app called Speechify and let Siri read the book to you. If you so choose. Or it's covering again right here. Seller's trying to regain control here and take this market back below the open, but it doesn't look like they've got the juice. Back at that 43 level. Pretty back and forth here. There's a pretty decent sized offer sitting there on the 47, so it's moved down from the 350 lots. It was, close to 500 lots early this morning, but it looks like they're moving down. So this could be someone that is trying to just hold price down long enough to get filled. They're not very close to the current price. Typically, these offers or bids that are not near price, I take them as someone who's just trying to hold price in a certain spot so they can get out of their shitty position that they put themselves in. Of course, in August, I'm thinking about signing up today. Which one is it? Is it the primer or is it the actual course, Peter?
I believe it's the primer. It's 4 days of classes and then 4 days of him going through the market with you. So
I mean,
like a good.
it,
It's been a year since I've taken a class, so I was just trying to think about continual learning.
yeah, I mean, I think like the just being able to watch the market and listen to Jim at the same time, is, it's invaluable, really. He really does have such a tight grasp on the market, and he's humble enough to admit when he's made a mistake, which is not very often. The only thing that can be a little bit confusing when you take his courses is just remember he's mostly trading options. So the way that he positions himself is a little bit different than kind of how we do here in like a futures contract. But I think, I think all of his courses are worth it. I don't know when his next intensive is going to be, but I definitely recommend taking the intensive. I really enjoyed that. And I know Zoe really enjoyed it too. She was in there with me.
Cool. Yeah, it's a primer. I was just looking at it while you're talking there, right? Too. But I think you have to take one of them before they'll even let you in the intensive.
That's what they say, but they're not going to turn down money. Let's be honest.
Good point.
They're like, hey, I want to take this class. It's $1,000. I'm like, hey, you got to take this other class. That's $300 first. Yeah, I don't think so. They're
Yeah.
just what happens is that they won't like Jim in the intensive because it's more for advanced traders. He just won't entertain any shitty questions or like beginner questions. Like if you ask like, I mean, and he's not shy about it either. He's just like, that's a dumb question, and he just like moves on. Jen will be like, she'll ask the question, and then Jim will just be like, dumb question, next. So, but I mean, you're at the state where you're understanding all of the basics, and so that intensive would be perfect, honestly. But the primer's not going to hurt either.
Yeah, cool. I got some time right here in August too, so I think I'm going to sign up today and just keep going. But I'll look out for the next intensive too.
Yeah, and I think I'll take the next intensive as well. We can all just jump in there together. I just really enjoyed the time. I'll just have to figure out how we're going to do the stream because I don't want to take a month off of streaming either.
Well, yeah, I'll look out for that. Yeah, but I'm gonna sign up today. I got the money sitting around, so
Nice.
seems like it's a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
And my son's in the background thinking I should spend the money on him instead.
Dad, I need new football cleats.
That's for sure.
The
Those new
what's that?
I said the new Messis don't come cheap.
Right. The intensive is a month long. And it's I mean there's like a let me pull up the schedule from the last intensive. You guys can kind of see how the layout of it. I wish I could delete Microsoft Teams off my computer. I don't even want to see it ever. I accidentally click on it all the time.
You can't delete it?
Oh, I haven't. I just figured that Microsoft wouldn't let you because it's
No,
Microsoft.
Microsoft Teams can be deleted.
Oh, okay.
I
Today
can assure you of that.
today will be the day then. Download. Market coming back down here a little bit, getting back into that T2 range. Starting to pick up some volatility here too. Oh, here it is. Let me pull this up. So this is how the last intensive was. So week 1, right? You had webinars, market open or 30 minutes before the market open, and then close to the market close, right? Book discussion, morning webinar. This was the first week. The second week, right? About 2 streams every day, and then third week, same idea. And then week 3, week 4, and then week 5. So it was really 4 weeks, but because the first week was a holiday week and a short week, they had an extension. And this is just kind of how his course goes. So total, he times it in at 62 hours total. So, it's definitely worth it. And he guides you through, all of these reports, kind of like we do here. It's just, you're hearing from the godfather of the market profile, and not me.
Does he use a live market as a teaching tool? Is that what that's? Because you said it's during the market, right?
Yeah, it's during the market. But if you ask any questions about like direction or anything like that, he gets frustrated, and then sometimes he rants. Remember, he just turned 82, so he's up there, and he's typically, in my experience, older people, they're not afraid to tell you how they're feeling. In B period, we had no trades on the ask between 28 and 34, even though there is no gap. The volume area, does this still need to be repaired? Yes. I'm looking at that, Tommy. That's just a huge buy stops. That's all those were. So whoever was short covered all of that. And if the market doesn't go back down there, I won't even think about a short. Yeah, it is tough, Young Cryptic, because it is a month long, and it's throughout the normal workday. Everything is recorded, and it'll be put like on your account. You'll get an account on his website, but it's not, honestly, if you can't attend it live, I don't know if I would do it. Because I mean, really, that's the key there. You know what I mean? Like getting that live information, because it's really hard to articulate something to somebody that's happened in the past, and if they're not understanding, it's like painting a picture that's already painted, but then explaining how you painted it. And it's like, well, I already saw the picture, so it's hard for me to imagine how it happened because I already saw the ending. You really have to dig out in your mind. And actually, I wrote down something yesterday when it popped into my head. Let me pull my notes up. This. Yeah, so it reminded me of one of the things I was writing, and I said cutting candlesticks apart like a surgeon. And what I mean by that is when we're looking at the TPO and really diving into it, remember target up here is at 55. If they find that volume up here, 50-50 the initial sell, but 55 is going to be where they're looking to break the high. When we're thinking about it, and this is a reference from Jim Dalton's book, he talks about a surgeon will take x-rays, will do exams, will do all of these things, but until you actually slice open the skin and see what's inside, you're not going to know what to expect, right? And so basically that's saying, every day when we get this profile, it could look very similar, but be articulating very different information. And that's something that for me is it's a mental thing, right? It really is a mental perspective that you have to kind of fully immerse yourself in to really understand that there is no concrete evidence, right? Or there's no concretes, there's no absolutes. We don't deal with absolutes in trading. Nobody does. There's no if this then that. Everything is what's a good word for it? Would be
Subjective.
what's that? Objective. Yeah.
Subjective.
Subjective. Yeah, everything is subjective, right? To the current market conditions. And then, another one in from the book, and like I said, I was rereading Markets in Profile. I just finished it up yesterday. The cognitive learning will only begin when you understand that the market does not have any concrete definitions, instead more guidelines, right? And so for me, I think when I think of just the word guidelines, I think of Pirates of the Caribbean and the Pirate Code. And similar to the market, right? The rules aren't really rules, they're more like guidelines. Just like the Pirate Code, more like guidelines anyways, right?
Sounds like my code.
No, you don't have a code, Jared. Don't even get me started with you. Jared,
The code is
Jared, you missed it earlier. I said Jared's still trapped down here
Dude, I just got
in
on.
these single prints.
Okay?
No, I was saying because yesterday we were like, you were like, oh, market's going down. I was like, nope, it's going to 3804. And you're like, that's tomorrow. It's going down. I was like, yeah, nope. And here we are.
You think he'll break like the 3872?
So we're coming to this point of control from this upper balance here, and this is going to be key. Hang on, let me put my pad down. Grab my keyboard. We're coming up here. The breath is starting to pick up. Sellers had an opportunity at that B low, like Tommy was pointing out, but they were not able to trade, and you had bigger time frame traders cover back inside that T2 range. And so now as we're getting up to value from this upper balance, if we do not get a strong reaction that pushes back down into where these previous single prints were from, like I said, I think that we break the possibilities to break the one time framing higher of the previous week up here at 39. What did we say? Where's my weekly chart? So there's the 55. So taking a little bit of profit here, and don't get too crazy. Remember that we have a lot of volume up here, so we could get a retracement. Try to trail your stop up here, but don't get too greedy. But the previous week's high was at 39.22. So I think that is probably the target today, honestly. Are they going to get there, right? We're still 50 handles off or 70 handles off, so I don't know. But C period opening up with some single prints. We've got some weak spots in the market right here at the 56. Failure to get below that 55 half really is just going to tell us that we're just, going to keep piling onto the upside. Or high. Probabilities, ace, that's a good one. Clipper, what is that word? Mercule? I don't know how to say the word. Bit dumb. Also wish Fortnite had duo no build arenas, but fucking trios. So there's the break back below this 55, right? We have some single prints up here. Remember, there is a lot of volume right here, so this is what I was saying. 55 is a good spot to maybe take some profit, rail your stop up, and don't get greedy up here. Let me take a peek at the volume from B session. Imagine it'd probably be a little bit higher. Yeah, it's about 1% higher than it was yesterday. So nothing really too insane. The breadth is flipped back to positive. We're starting to see some of the sectors really pick up. And then if we look at the tick is pressing up here at that 1000 tick, trying to break the highs. Still getting led up by the unweighted sectors in the market here though. Take a peek around the block. Apple's up 0.75, AMD's up 1.6, Amazon up 2.6, Meta up 2.8, Microsoft up 2.2, Netflix up almost 3%. Triple Q is up 1.4. Where's that zero gamma? Oh, zero gamma's way down there, so. Do something fun. I'm going to split the profile here. These two. So 3860. This 3857 looks to be a spot for sellers to be possibly responsive inside this previous value. We didn't really get a very strong reaction off of that point of control. So, good odds probably trade to the opposite end of value, which is at 68. No sellers show up there. Poor high still sitting at 38.84, and a repair of that poor high would be, the first target up after that breach of that 69 value area high. Oh, Mercula. Hey, Clipper, how you doing, bro? Long time no chat. If you are joining us for the first time on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, make sure to drop a like and a sub, if you don't mind. And also, if you are new and not in the Discord, comment down below or comment in the chat and be like, hey, I want to join the Discord. Only thing I ask is that you guys be respectful and polite. We have one of to me, the best community, but definitely, I think one of the best communities on Discord, period. We don't have any hate or any BS at all, right? There's no drama. So, like to keep it that way. So if you do come into the Discord and start shit, I got the power. So I'll just fucking time your ass out and you just get to watch everybody else chat and you won't be able to comment shit. But, that shouldn't happen. So we should be good to go.
You're
So
gonna laugh at me, bro.
You're short?
I'm short from 57.50.
Yeah, I figured you were, buddy.
Dude, I mean, it's working out right now for just barely for a little bit, but I'm like, I just want to see a banger right now, dude. I just want to see it drop like 15 points.
Well, so if the market does close these single prints here, there is, you know, decent odds that it rotates all the way back down to the 40. The open has been a big pivotal exchange today. It's been back and forth. Yeah, we rarely have drama in the Discord, definitely, and definitely not recently. We only had some drama, and you know, I had to solve it. The old Discord had a lot of drama though. That was only because I had to fucking force you guys to take a red pill. I'm not like Morpheus. I'm not offering you the blue or the red pill. There is no blue pill. There's only a red pill.
You will. You will be woke.
Like, do you want to get saved or not?
Why do my eyes hurt? Because you never used them before. You never opened them before.
But I mean the reason that movie is what?
Is that Jared?
Yeah, that's Jared.
Yeah.
What's up, Jared? It's Lincoln.
That's my dad.
Hey, what's up, Lincoln?
Yeah, it's hella slow today, so maybe I'll leave my microphone on.
Yeah,
Umar,
Brad's
what's up,
been
man?
telling me you've been doing really good, Lincoln. I'm happy for you.
As long as you don't talk in caps lock, we're all good.
Yeah. The computer program that we use to type into repair orders requires you to have it in cap lock, so it won't let you type. Fucking just stupid.
But Zoom doesn't.
Wow. That sucks.
I never change it when I have to be conscious when I send emails because everyone gets all butthurt because apparently fucking capital letters means you're fucking crybaby. So I got to change everything, and sometimes I'm not the fastest typer.
You download Mavis Beacon.
I was gonna say they have night classes for that, dude. You should step it up.
Dude, I took type. No, I'm not bad. I mean, I probably type 30 words a minute, but I took typing in high school in my freshman class because all there was is girls in that class.
But I'm confused though, because I thought you had to use a hammer and chisel to do your typing on that stone tablet.
But,
And just
What's that?
reminding you that I'm much younger than you. Just
What?
keeping that in mind.
What's
You know
that
what?
called? Cuneiform?
Uniform, there you go.
You're
Freaking
about-
hieroglyphics.
What are you? You're 51?
Yeah, 51.
Yeah, pipe it, bud. We're over 50. You're in the group. You're guilty of being an old man by association.
I can still call you old. That's all that matters.
Anytime you want to have this old man take you to the hoop or beat
Well,
you,
all I'm saying is I know the difference between typing something with caps lock and not with caps lock.
you're 1-0. Savor the flavor.
Brad, I'm not saying I'm a genius, but so far I have literally shorted the top.
Yeah, if we compare that to all the heat that you've took the previous days,
Hey,
you know,
hey,
I'm just gonna-
a
I'm
broken
just gonna
clock's
say-
right
Positive side.
twice a day.
Jared, I'm going to say I
That's a
always
first.
short the top. I always short the top until it goes up.
There you go. I mean, hey, yeah, nailed it.
Jared usually goes long on the top.
I don't go long on the top.
No, Jared
Short,
used
then
to.
it just goes higher.
Jared used to. Jared used to be stuck like in breakout trades, but he's definitely improved a ton and been a lot more patient with his entries. That's for sure.
And you'd be happy. I only have on 2 when before I'd be like 10 lots right here,
Dude.
one down.
The question is, are you going to pay yourself before it rotates back up?
Wait, what? Ain't no guess. We're going down to the 35.
Oh,
35.
okay.
It's ambitious. You guys heard it here. Jared said we're going down to 35. Everyone click the fucking sell the bid.
So,
Go long from here. Okay, I heard it.
yeah, quick sell ask, you'll get a better feel.
Yeah, so the market is struggling here. 100 lot order just came through, 38.52, a buy order. Just like we talked about, Jared said that we're going down. The market just bounces right up. That's called the Jared indicator. We need to make him a fucking ETF. Start tracking that instead of the SPY.
Oh, we're going back down. putting on another lot.
Um,
Oh,
but
he's averaging in.
so far the market hasn't been able to fill these single prints. If the market does fill these single prints, there's probably good odds that we do come back to the 40. The open, we've seen the market come back and forth over the open pretty much all day this morning. So far. Kumar, good morning. Yeah, it's been a long time. Glad to have you back, bro. Hopefully you're doing well. Took a little bit of a break, moved to the East Coast, so now my hours are, better than ever, honestly. Get so much stuff done and so much time and room for activities now that I'm on the East Coast. A little bit of offering coming in here. Look to see if these sellers are going to commit. They're going to need to get back below the 50. 50 was a big level on the way up. If they don't get below the 50, yeah, I mean the profiles, there's a pretty decent amount of volume overhead, so it's going to take a pretty decent amount of buying to jump on over this. And Apple is actually kind of the lagger today. Apple's only up about a quarter, or about 0.5%, a little bit less than 0.5% here. And remember, this is that area where we talked about, right? If we combine these two profiles, we expect some responsive selling or some opportune selling, which is why we took profit at 55. So hopefully you weren't greedy and you weren't, just sitting in there hoping for it to go up forever. There's going to be opportunity to get into other positions. We've just got to remain patient. Previous lows at... I'm just going to mark these previous lows. So we don't... I just like to see where they're at. And I know that's not in the book, because we've traded over it, but it's just something that I like to see. I should write my own book. That way I can be like, it's in the book.
Somebody's got to take the mantle over. Dalton's 82 years old. Come on.
For real, I know. I get my shit together.
Yeah. You have 40-some, 50 years to go in his age. If you want
Yeah,
to.
I took profit.
Good.
Took profit.
Good for you,
Yeah.
Jared. I like it. Nice little, was that 7-point trade? Couple lots. That's called no job. That's a no job trade there.
$900.
Yep. Like I always say, $500 a day keeps the job away. So, Step Brothers, J Trader. Yeah, that was a Step Brothers quote. Good call. One of the most classic movies ever. And you gotta, if you haven't seen the uncut version of Step Brothers, right, do yourself a favor and search for it and find it. There's like the basic one that's on Netflix is just like, the regular one. When you get to be a real hero, find those other ones. So we have a close of those single prints. A lot of times you get buying off of, previous bar high, which would be like this A high. Actually, we haven't closed the single prints yet. We still have one more tick. Did we? No, one more tick. So even though it doesn't show it here, it's because I have my profile on 2-tick increments.
Yeah, mine's just close too.
So would you say that's a buying opportunity, Brad?
Yeah, we're closed.
Well, we just closed the single prints, and so, like I said, if we close these single prints, there's decent odds that we come back down to the open. So I'm gonna just wait, and wait to see, if we rotate. If we fail to rotate back down to the open, we do have volume point of control here. Value is developing higher, right? 3 TPOs up here, opens down here, so decent odds that we have go up higher. What the fuck? What account size are you trading? What do you mean, Thomas? Each point for me is $50. So every time I'm in a trade, each point that it goes up is 50. Each point that it goes down is 50, depending upon how many lots I'm in.
Ugh.
Clipper, you'd read a book that I wrote about my time in the military, civilian life in the markets. That would be cool. Incorporate everything. You know, and Jim talks about how an ability to look at something with new new information, to look at the same thing but in a different light. Buyer's trapped right here on the 46. There you go. There's that liquidation. They're looking for the open here. VWAP is right here down at the open as well. But yeah, Jim talks about how looking at something through a different lens, but the same thing basically is, you know, is good. I think so. He articulated it better than me. I'd need a proofreader and someone to run my thing through a thesaurus and scan it for F words.
You mean like because you're missing?
Well, it's just like if I don't have a word to fill it in, I just drop the F-bomb in. I'm like, oh, that will do it.
Yeah, it's like an exclamation point. Listen to me. The next sentence is super important.
Well, just for me, it's like a multi-tool. It's a verb, noun, adjective, pronoun. I mean,
For sure.
You know you've really arrived when you can actually put it in all of its forms in one single sentence.
One word.
F
Fuck.
you effing F.
It's everything. One sentence, exclamation point is everything. Noun, verb, adjective.
so we have higher developing value. Values developing above the open, right? And so this is the key thing that we look for. Is price going to come back down to where value is at, or is value going to start moving up towards price? And so far, we're seeing value moving higher.
So how many lots you got on that trade now, Jared?
He closed it, he said.
Oh,
He's in a long now. Yeah.
No, I entered a short again.
Oh, you animal. Where from?
49.25.
So we've got some sellers trapped down here below the 46. They did a little bit of short covering on the 45. There they go. They're going to be looking, like I said, to target that open. Short covering came out as soon as they got back down to break even right there. So not really a ton of conviction on the short side there by these sellers. And that C is very mechanical right on the B half back. And it failed to break it twice there. Back above this A high, you'll start to see probably a little bit of short covering. That'll bring us back up to that 52 half area. And then that 55 areas where sellers were active again last time. Or yeah, sellers were active again at the 55, right here where that point of control was at. Previous VPOC.
I hate when you scare me, Brad. So on my one account, I shorted from like 49.25, and my other account, I shorted from 45.25.
Oof.
And then you're like, sellers are trapped down here. I'm like, son of a, I'm trapped. I'm trapped. help me, I'm trapped.
Hit me, Tom
when
Cruise.
I hate when you speak like that. You're like, someone's trapped right here. I'm like, I'm selling. I'm trapped. This is a trap. I'm in a trap.
That's the worst feeling. I've had that too. Like, oh, sellers, you're trapped. It's like, thanks, bro. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
God
Yeah,
damn
it's
it.
like, because it's like at first I was feeling trapped, but then he confirmed that I'm trapped.
Calls me out by name.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? You watching my trades? Goddamn.
Yeah.
It's like a whole ball.
Yeah. Sellers are trapped down here.
Hey Jared, I got this this bang flavor called nectarine blueberry. It's pretty good. That's the first time I ever seen it.
What's that?
Nice.
It's called
No, that's way too much. I would. Yeah, I mean, I would need the whole thing. That's 500 each.
I'm gonna try it.
Oh,
what's up with
fuck.
this guy Lincoln just leaving open mic. Mute his ass.
Oh. It's so funny.
We need to teach him how to use that freaking keyboard. I'm telling you right now.
Okay, yeah, I mean he's your brother. You know the internet is pretty much lost on him, okay?
Well, I realize, but I'm
Is
just
it-
saying.
His
that's-
experience with the internet is Ninja Trader. That was-
He's like, I know where the power button is. That's as far
Yeah.
as we can go.
Fine of I
If
don't want to have to get out of this, but
if it's not a if it's not a services order, you know, he doesn't use it.
Let's talk about level of trap, Brad. How trapped am I down here?
So basically what happened here and what we can see is when we have these mechanical lows that try to repair a couple of times, we saw it twice try to repair and it couldn't, especially when the target is definitely the open for these sellers. That's just showing a lack of supply. We have volume confirming above and really, I mean, you can see where sellers were at and you know, a lot of momentum traders are probably trapped buyers are probably trapped up here. And so if they cannot break this level, the rotation is going to be back up to this, I think 55, maybe 55, 58 level, to see if they're going to come in and initiate. There is, you know, there still is decent odds. We at least have some selling in the market because we did close those single prints, but yeah, I think the longer we stay above it, the better odds are that we trade back up. Good news is there is a seller sitting on that 50 willing to sell still on that 50.
I love how we came to my line, my break even line, like on the tick, and they're like, nah, this dude's getting ready to unwind.
Well, that's what happens is a lot of people are probably in a similar position as you. They're trapped down at that 45, and as it gets close to break even, they start to buy their position back, and that causes the market to bounce a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, there is some supply, so there's still, you know, still hope, you know, Obi-Wan to get down to the open. It's just the longer we don't do it, the better odds that we rotate back to the upside.
Mm-hmm.
Jared's like, press it down.
Yeah, go down. Oh, that was just funny right there. It like went down. I was like, oh, and then it like went right to my break even line. I was like, nah.
Remember, this 50 is a mechanical level. I think 3850 very easily recognizable number. So above that, you'll probably get that short covering the offer level. 55, yeah, 55 really. Maybe 53, but
Drive them down, boys. Going to 35.
yeah, and also kind of the inverse thing too. A lot of, you know, the failure to break that 50, we're in a very tight range from this 44 or 43 half to 50. Failure to break above that 50 also, you know, brings the pressure on buyers to start taking profit, and that can push the market down as well. So the key today is patience.
Hang on. I gotta take
5 minutes until the DTPO opens up. It does look like they want to try to look above this 50 here. You've got a lot of liquidity sitting up here, starting at the 50 all the way up to like that 53 level. Yeah, this thing can't make up its mind. It can't. And look at Apple. Apple's really, not doing great comparatively. Apple's up 0.3, AMD's up 1.2, Amazon's up 2.3, Meta's up 2.4, Microsoft up 1.7, Netflix up 2.6. There's the 50. So look for the 50 to 53-ish area. That looked like the offer level to me, 53. Above that, probably. Seeing a little bit of a volume increase here. You're an old Nam and Gulf War vet watching a guy make 4K this morning trading futures, decided to search on YouTube and fell into your line. Is that what you're also doing? Is this a stupid question? Steven, welcome. Glad to have you, and thank you for your service.
Good name.
Good name. I'm not really a huge fan of people that post their P&L every day on the internet, right? That's more just like kind of trying to suck you in to a monetary goal. My goal here is to actually teach you and help you understand the market and learn the flow of the market. That way you can do it yourself, right? And not only do I want you to be able to do it yourself, I want you to be able to share with the community so we can all learn from each other, right? So definitely not a stupid question. I don't really believe in stupid questions. I love answering questions. But yeah, this is what I do full time for sure. And I'm retired from the Army. Chirp, tell him what's up, man. A lot of bears in Tahoe. My brother's been sending me pictures all week. Well, this is a funny video.
They say there's no such thing as stupid questions, just stupid people asking questions.
Right. Nice, Dad. You're done for the day? Dang, you had a really good week this week, huh? $1.9 trillion in options will expire tomorrow. Get ready for another volatile day. Yeah, that's a lot. Where do they get all the money? Check out the video. I'm going to post it in the Discord. It's a picture of a bear scratching his balls. But it's like a legit video. My brother took it this morning. So there's that breakup in the 53. This is an opportunity for sellers to respond. If they don't respond, we'll be probably looking to go test those high of days. Or the high of the day.
Hey Brad, do you have Disney Channel?
Yeah, I got Disney Channel.
Have you watched that America the Beautiful yet?
I have not, no.
Yeah, that is. You feel like those
Oh, the one by Michael B. Jordan. Yeah. I watched the first 2 episodes. I did. Yeah.
Yeah, who is Michael B. Jordan? Is he? I mean, no, it's not really.
He's an actor.
I'm familiar, but
he was the bad guy in Black Panther. He was in that boxing movie. He's a good actor. I like him.
Yeah, that's just amazing. Yeah, I watched like 4 or 5 of them last night. It's like, holy shit.
So here comes D period opening up. Dom, what's up, man? Thank you. Steven, I have not written a book. I was talking about, I would like to write a book. I think it would be, an interesting, an interesting process. I never, it would be really cool because then I could go back to high school and be like, you motherfuckers thought I was going to be worthless. And look at me, I wrote a book. Right? I did write a book that won an award in the 2nd grade. No big deal. Actually got to go to like a fair and meet some famous author that my grandma really knew, and I had no idea who it was. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm thinking like that would be a cool idea. The best way to get started is definitely jump in our Discord. I will post the link for you right here. And then just, introduce yourself. We have some classes that runs through the basics. You'll see once you get in, they'll just be a little bit lower. If you get in and you don't see the courses, just close your Discord out, open it back up, and then they should probably show up. Volume in that C period was about flat, about the same as yesterday's volume.
My cousin, he just joined the chat. I don't know. I don't think he has a mic, so you probably won't hear him, but he
Oh,
wanted to
okay.
watch.
Nice. Welcome. Glad to have you. Ooh, Tommy's gonna get on some Fortnite today, huh? Okay. I like it. Tom said, I told all my students that the only stupid questions are the ones you don't ask. Just because you understand something doesn't mean you do. Exactly. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. Like, I honestly think that, you can learn you can just learn all the time. And so if you tune yourself out to things like that, you're really just kind of blocking your mind out to paying attention to a perspective, right? And in reality, there's just no reason to do that, in my opinion. You always want to try to learn and improve. And if you're just assuming that a question is stupid because you don't understand it, or you don't like it, then that's just, you take a peek in the mirror, right? It's the hardest look. So there's the 55. This is that kind of that last opportunity here. This is where a lot of sellers decided to top off. We got that off of that point of control. So I would say not a very strong reaction off of this prior point of control. A strong reaction should have brought us below the open and possibly cleaned up this mechanical low. It didn't. So our next target up for me is going to be this 66 quarter, and then this value area high at 69. Then we got 71 and then 76.
You know me, Brad. I'm still in.
Fucking animal.
You go long, Jared?
No.
Are you
No,
still
I'm still short.
Look
Yeah.
at this.
Oh.
Ace said, thanks, Jared. I took along at 38.45. It's working out really well.
He's like,
Oh.
oh,
Nice.
wait. So Jared's short. Perfect. I'm gonna go on.
Oh shit. Well, I gotta tell you, I've taken too long since I heard that you were short, and they both paid out.
Oh, I can imagine.
We have a big
However I
seller
can
still sitting on
contribute.
the 55 right here, 38.55, 113 lot order. And that could just be this guy earlier. Let me scroll down and find him. You had him get long on the 38.52. He's finally getting back in a profit and covering that position. So that could just be old business there too. Steven, definitely making you laugh. Just subscribe. Appreciate it. You said, so you focus on just Bitcoin or both Bitcoin and stocks? I also have Bitcoin on Coinbase, no cold wallet yet. So this is actually the S&P 500 futures. And I haven't really been trading any crypto. I actually took all my money off of Bybit because I just don't trust any of the platforms right now. So maybe in the future, might be able to gain some trust back when things get a little bit less crazy with the world. But until then, I've just been kind of sticking away from some of these crypto trades. We do have a channel in the Discord that has people that trade crypto. I know Poke, he's in there. He's always pretty active. He's trading crypto. I know Cam trades crypto pretty regularly, and so does Kevin and can't remember his name, but his screen name's in there. This too shall pass. He trades crypto quite a bit as well. So we definitely have a community. I definitely use the TPO on Bitcoin, and it works out really well. It's for me lately, I don't know. I don't like the risk that's involved with it. But yeah, we trade mostly futures, some stocks and some options as well. My uncle's in here. He's trading mostly options. He hasn't switched over to the dark side to trade futures yet, but one day.
I just have to write the bot.
Good luck. Shit, that's
Why?
crazy. I don't know. I mean, you got the know-how to do all that stuff. Working on your options. You're making
Well,
money on options?
yeah.
Or are you still fake trading, sim trading?
No. I started actually doing the trade. So initially the bot would like tell me, hey, this is what I'm gonna do, and then I would do the trade manually. And I started that back in March, but I did it off and on because I was still programming it. And then like, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago is when I actually put the bot on and it's on full time. And it still has issues. Like yesterday, it was down. I mean, because it has to download. So it downloads 40 tickers and it downloads 30 strikes for those 40 tickers every 4 seconds. So it's just a shit ton of data. So yesterday, the thing that was downloading died. So it opened the trade, the initial one for the day, and then it did a what I call a 3 candle buy, which basically looks at the trends and determines, yes, I need to re-up. And it did a second buy, and then right after that it freaking died. And the bad part is that I'm still in the defining stage, so I don't have it with the ability to recover. So it basically got to that point and then it died. And so there's no way for me to like go back and know what the bot would do, because if I don't follow what it would do, I mean, it's pretty tight sometimes, and so you can't always guarantee that it's going to pay out unless you follow it exactly of how it does it. And so I said jack it, and I ended up selling it for 100 under, which it was and here's the thing, at the beginning of the day it bought a freaking call and the thing was tanking, everything was going down, and it said nope, you should get a call, and so it did. And if I had just let it play all the way to the end of the day, or if I had done it, and based on my back testing, it would have made me $300 and I would have had to do nothing. But that's stupid freaking code. So first thing I did last night was I fixed it so that now if it dies when it's downloading the data, I can recover it, and so that it won't do that
Watch
anymore.
the volume coming in here at the top. Looking to take that high here. 48 contracts, 50, 41, 114. There goes the high. Still a poor high though. Look for some excess. They've got to buy these stops up here. So these previous sellers that are selling over here from previous value still able to hold. We've got to find some initiated buying up here. And the weak spot on the profile right here is 57.5. If these sellers aren't able to get below 57.5, you'll be looking up there probably for that 66 quarter. Some liquidity sitting on the 60, that 340 lots sitting on the 60. So that might be there. That's where those stops are at, is at 60.
Oh yeah, I see them.
Just bought Elliptical Titan. Nice meeting. Nice meeting you, Brad. Thanks again. P.S. What's your schedule daily? So Monday through Friday, about 9 a.m. Eastern time to whenever the market starts to just get boring. So there it goes. I just took Jared's lunch money.
Dinner money, go out money.
Jesus. Ugh.
I guess you're not
And you
seeing
know
that.
me, I averaged it. Oh, I averaged in too.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well, the first step is admitting your faults, and then the second step's acting on them. So there's still time. 87 contracts traded on that high here. I haven't seen any longs taking profit yet, if I'm being honest. So I still think there's some room here to the upside. Watch the 60 flip here. So if we had buyers on the 60, or we had those sellers sitting on the 60, if they flip here, if they were shorter term time frame traders, which I imagine they were, they'll try to buy the 60 now. We do still have that weak spot at 57.5, and another weak spot here at like 58.75. Damn, Dom said he took that short. Ace still got one lot running. Good stuff. Yeah, so I have one lot left as well. My stop's at 57.5.
Jeez.
Fire's still active down there. There is some selling here though on the 60. But not doesn't look very strong.
Just barter something?
Target's still at 66. Why is 57.5 weak? So when I'm looking at the DOM here, let me open it back up. So when I'm looking at that DOM, and we look here at 57.5 right here, you can see, to me, when I'm looking at this, when it came down, all of these trades that came in traded on the bid. So we had sellers pour into the bid and not able to break it. And so that's telling me that it's weak selling, getting trapped down here at the 57.5, right? That's kind of how I'm looking at it, at least. But I mean, if we look here, you can see, at least for the last 30 minutes, where's this detach? If you look here, 57.5, 365 contracts, right? But when it did come down there, it only traded 365 contracts. They all traded on the bid. So aggressive sellers moved down to the bid to sell it, and they just got kind of stuck right there. Does that make sense, Thomas? G Rob says, good morning. I only ever trade Bitcoin, but I wanted to branch out into other markets. Where'd you recommend to start? I'd recommend to start right here. Right here on the S&P futures. I would recommend the MES, so the micro S&P futures. So each point is going to be only $5. It's a little bit more forgiving. There is opportunities if you don't have a lot of capital to get started. You can start with a funded account. I recommend starting on a sim, and I recommend starting on a sim for at least a month minimum. But yeah, 11 points, hell yeah. Could you give a breakdown? What's the difference between the ES, the S&P, and the SPX? So the ES is the futures contract of the S&P. They're one and the same. The SPX is an index, and it just, they basically trade the same. The difference is the futures contracts, right? So if I pull up the SPX here, we can see the SPX is trading at 38.54, and this is trading at 38.57, right? So the SPX is tracking the actual S&P 500 as of right now, whereas the futures market is trading at September prices. So I've been trading the sim for the past year almost, recently starting for the real, and there's nothing wrong with that too. I think, I even think a lot of people that are like, oh, you shouldn't be on the sim forever. I mean, you definitely want to be testing your edge for sure, but the sim is such a unique tool that you don't really get, or you don't really think about, people underutilize in the market, right? Think about, as a baseball player, how much practice you do, or anything that you do that you want to be good at, you got to practice at it first. And in trading, this is kind of one of the only careers that you can go to work and get a negative paycheck. So if you do not, you can basically blow up your entire account without ever getting the opportunity to learn, right? And that's why they say 90% of traders quit, 90% of retail traders don't make it. And the reason isn't because they just don't, it's not that they don't know what they're doing, right? Nobody knows what they're doing at first. It's just that they don't have the capital to just sit here and just burn through real money forever. And they run out, and then eventually they just give up, right? That's just kind of how the game works. Right. And if yeah, exactly. If you rarely see success on the sim, yeah, what's the point of, stepping up into the major leagues? 66 quarters at target here. We can expect some responsive selling probably from there. It's a prior low. Thanks, Dr. VJ.
Oof, it's getting ugly, boys.
Jesus Christ, you're a fucking degenerate.
You're still in that? Holy shit. It's getting hot in here.
Here, this is called gambling, not trading.
Apple's still inside of its range here, kind of just balancing. But if Apple starts to catch a bid, and I mean, it could really get in tune with the market. You can see that the weighted sectors are dragging below the unweighted sectors here. The tick has been kind of, getting a little bit oversold, rebounding, and then coming back up, trapping, trapping dumb money short. And I'm not saying that as an offense to anybody. I'm just, that's what I say every time. And if Apple does turn around, Apple's been a big driver of the market. This thing could really start to rally. And remember, I'd love to see us up at that 39.22. That would be a cessation of one time framing on the weekly, just in time to get everybody bullish going into the weekend, and they can slam it down on Monday. G Rob, if you're new, definitely join our Discord for sure, and pop in there, introduce yourself. The only thing I ask is that you be polite and respectful. We got a good community, and we don't want to ruin that as we grow. If you need the Discord link, just let me know. The Discord link below in the video takes you to the wrong Discord on purpose, so we don't get a bunch of bots and assholes. I heard about one professional prop firm asks their traders to trade poker to aid trading the markets. Yeah, I mean, it's very similar. You'll see it often. The poker can build very good discipline, right? If you have a set number of hands that you get that you play that are good hands, and right, good hands can vary depending upon where you're sitting according to the button, but some people will just be like, oh, this queen 5 is suited, I'm in, right? And that's just a dumb fucking move depending upon where you're sitting at, what the bid is and stuff like that. So it does have some very good comparables. If you have good discipline, which I think good discipline and good psychology are two very important things when it comes to the market, you can probably be successful in both. I've been having some pretty good success in both lately. And that's kind of one of my goals is, to play in the World Series of Poker next year. And I think the main event was, I think it's today, that the final table might be today. Or maybe it was the 11th. I can't remember. Look it up.
My buddy here in Vegas, he played in the World Series of Poker last year. He's crazy, man.
How'd he do?
I think he got out like 200 or 300.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he did pretty good.
Yeah.
He's always playing at like Aria and stuff. They have a huge poker room there.
Yeah, the Aria. Yeah. G-Rob said, a few minutes behind on the stream. Yeah, I don't have a lot of capital. Look into the sim idea. So, yeah, if you don't have a lot of capital, a lot of our traders have gone through the funded route to go through Apex Trader. I don't recommend keeping your money on there once you build up a pretty decent stash. I would definitely switch to your own account, things like that. Not that I don't trust them, because I know that they do pay out. And we've got, funded traders here in the group that are getting paid off of it. It's just that you have more options, like if you want to hold a position overnight or through the close and things like that, right? You get a little bit more leeway. So would you start trading the S&P 500 would be okay to start, or should I trade the ES futures? They're the same thing, Thomas. So the S&P 500, like the index, you would have to have some you would have to have some cash because they're expensive. Those SPX options are expensive. Oh yeah, Dr. VJ, yeah. I was in my English class. Yeah, he did hate it. He hated that. But yeah, I mean, follow the rubric. Yeah, and the last scene, if anyone's ever seen the movie Rounders, the last scene in my project, I literally just had me and I had my buddy put on like a really tight sweater and pretend he was what's that actor's name? What's that actor's name from Rounders? The Russian, the guy he plays a Russian. Great actor too. I can't just blanking on his name right here.
John Malkovich.
John Malkovich. Yeah.
Yeah, Malkovich.
Yeah, I had my buddy Mark Ashcroft play John Malkovich, and then I played Matt Damon, and we literally just re-imitated the scene. And I knew my teacher had never seen the movie because he was such a fucking square. So it was hilarious. Yeah, G-Rob, definitely. Yeah, glad. I know. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, definitely busy, and especially, this is kind of right in the middle of work time. The market is. So, but yeah, join the Discord for sure, man. And if you're already in the Discord, just, don't be afraid to ask questions and introduce yourself. Just been on the candlesticks, trying to keep it simple. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. This just makes it, because these are 30-minute periods, right? So this is basically a 30-minute low, a 30-minute high, a 30-minute half back, the 30-minute open. So you're looking at like an open, high, low, close bar. It's just the way that it's put together lets us see the market a little bit easier because we don't trade price, we trade value, right? And so as we can see, value is developing higher, right? We have this kind of gap right here. We had 3 TPOs here, and now we're seeing value step up and move higher. So value is moving up to price, which tells us we don't want to be getting short, right? Not that there's not opportunity to scalp on both sides, but the market's one time framing up since the open. One of the biggest things that you can ever do to get yourself in the hole, and they call it short in the hole, is to try to fade a one time framing market. Something that I just make sure to practice and not do.
Thinking about putting like 25 watts on, Brad, up at the very top above where price is at, and then that way it just scares everybody. And they're like, let's not touch this guy.
25 lots? That's not shit.
Hey, you think it needs to be 35?
Let me know when you're going to do it. I'll buy them from you.
Don't be a dick.
In what direction are you going?
Yeah.
Are you going long?
I ain't saying.
Yeah, right.
I'm not telling you guys nothing now. You guys all did the opposite of me.
Fuck you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah.
So Pop asked, when we are one time firming up like we are now, can you go over what you look like for an opportunity to get in and what you look for when we might be reversing? Yeah, great question. And so what I'm looking for is really just waiting for Jared to tell me when he's going to get in. So no, I'm just kidding. So what I'm looking for is these mechanical levels, because when we put in a mechanical level like this, it's telling me that there's not a lot of supply, right? Because if there is a lot of supply, and when I say supply, I'm talking more about size traders, right? If there are size traders in the market, then we wouldn't leave behind these mechanical references, because bigger traders don't care about these references, right? They're not worried about half back and a prior high or anything like that. They're like, oh, I've got orders to execute and I'm executing them, right? Yeah, they want to get a good fill, so they'll be a little bit patient, fill some here, fill some there, but they're not really looking at where they're getting filled. They're looking at where their average is going to be based off of their fills. And so when we had D period open up and come basically right back down to that C halfback and fail, and really C period, when it failed to get that open, that just turned the tap on, right? I started just pouring on longs. I still would like to get up to this 38.66. And so to answer the second part of your question, when we're looking for this reversal, when we start to see volume tapering off the top like it is now, that's what kind of makes me a little bit nervous. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see this D period re-enter the C period range, right? Because in re-entrance of the C period range shows acceptance into this lower value, right? I want to see value come up. And so as it comes down back into this value, that's what kind of makes me think, okay, well, there may be a little bit of downside. And then, we see that weak spot here, 740. We've got 3 minutes and 20 seconds left until the next period opens up. So if E period comes down to this 740, doesn't push below it, that might be a spot to try to get an add-on. I hope that helped. So I loved yesterday when Brad said that if someone can tell you if you're having a bad day or a good day, then you need to work on your psychology. Yeah, that's 100% true, Kevin. If somebody can come up to you and they can tell that you're in a bad trade, that's a key indication that you are not super in touch or don't have a big control on your psychology, and that's just a personal thing that you need to work on. And like I said, the first step is identification. If you're able to start identifying that, then that's awesome. And, just work on it.
It's funny. We did talk about that yesterday, and my wife came home, and I didn't have a great day yesterday, but I stuck to my plan and everything, it was, since I stuck to my plan, I called it a successful day, even though I was in the hole, but it's like I didn't break any of my rules. She came home and we just chit chatted, and then we had dinner and stuff. And then I told her that I did have a rough day trading, and she's like, "You did?" So I was kind of like, I might be starting to get a handle on
Yeah.
not taking the market with me through their site, because it did. Yesterday was successful. The day before that, even though I did a little bit of ES and MES, mixing it up, working on my psychology, I consider that a success, because I tried something, I realized that it affected me, and so that I'm not quite ready yet to take that next step. And I kind of knew that was going to happen, but at the same time, and that helped me establish a new rule for myself, that if I'm going to trade ES, first I have to show success for the day with the MES, and then I'll give myself permission to put on a lot if I'm feeling good and I'm rocking it already, and then kind of work up to being able to get in that mindset that it's just another trade. It's no different. There's a higher risk reward factor, but that's what I want to get out of my head and just be focused on the trade. So, but I don't know. I was impressed with myself when she couldn't tell that I had a red day. So, but anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you're able to not only understand your psychology, but also, put another rule on yourself and understand that, okay, I definitely know that if I do step up to the ES contract and I'm not having a good day, it's just going to make things worse. Right. And so that's definitely, definitely improvement. And that's all you can ask from yourself, right? You can only ask yourself to just improve a little bit every single day, but you have to put in the work like you're doing. And, if you don't put in the work and you expect to improve, it's like not going to practice and expecting to improve. We're not all Allen Iverson with natural talent, right?
Yep.
I still think one of the best analogies you had is when, or maybe it was Jim, is when he went fishing and he was with that guy fishing and the guy could see where the fish were at. He couldn't see shit.
Oh yeah, that was in that webinar that Jim did recently. He talked about that.
Oh, did he do it again? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It was like maybe May or something, and it's like it's just weird how weird how it's like I'm sitting there watching because I do all my trades completely off the TPO. I just look at the I have the candlesticks on there just for I don't know, just for so I can see directions and stuff that is going at that moment. But all my trades are done off of the TPO, and that's all I look at all day long. And then I'll just glance over at the candlesticks. And it's like you see a trade coming in, and it's like, oh, I can put it in place and then just walk away for a minute and then come back and check it and then come back and check it. Because I don't have the luxury of watching it all the way through.
Sellers trapped down here at the 56. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sellers are trapped down here at the 56.
I'll get out a little bit early.
They need to hold it below the 57.5. A lot of, I mean, it looked like a lot of selling coming in down on that 56. Let's see if they can break it. They're just having trouble breaking it down right here.
Don't tell me I need to get out, Red. It was so close. It's getting so close.
Yeah, G-Rob, no problem. I love, you know, I love answering questions. So any questions that you have, you know, I don't shy away from them or anything. Did you put 25 lots on, Jared?
What's that?
Did you put 25 lots on?
No. God, no. I wish I did now, but no.
All right, Brad, I'm gonna be heading out. I missed both the trades I wanted and was stupid enough to chase one of them, so lost 2 points. So that does it for me today.
All right, Jake. Well, you know, always another day. Oh, is that Dom? Oh, okay.
First time I've ever spoken.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Dom. Yeah, well, glad to hear you speak up. You know, that's awesome.
Welcome to the group, brother.
Yeah, I'll be in here more.
Cool.
I did the trading pretty much by myself for a whole year. I'm doing pretty good though, but I'm trying to join like the class. Like there's way more things I can learn off you. I do have a couple questions too, so are you busy later on?
No, just hit me up. I'm just chilling. I'll probably be playing Fortnite or swimming in the pool. So.
Oh, say less. I bet.
All right.
I got work, so it won't be till like later on. But you guys have a wonderful day.
You too, man.
Later.
Take care.
So
damn it, Brad, why you gotta start saying stuff like that?
Kind of just
trapped again. I'm like, son of a I'm trapped again.
I mean, we had talked about this level here, you know, this 50, it was like 57, I think. You know, E period came down 2 ticks below that half back, same idea here. They trapped those sellers again. Pretty easily recognizable right there that they got trapped. You know, and then still waiting for that 66 to come in. And just like we talked about, you know, D period came back down into E. If we came down here, we didn't get a lot of selling. We wanted to pour on some longs down here. So, you know, if you were selling that 56, you were selling it to me. So thank you. And I'll give it back to you when we get up to the 66 if you want to sell it again.
Yeah, I out to that, and the target was 56. So
nice.
Trading contracts.
Again, nice. I like it. You can admit your psychology needs improvement. Yeah, and everyone's psychology needs improvement, right? Including my own. And that's why I'm always, you know, reading books. The next book that I'm on right now is hang on. The next book that I am on, well, that I'll start soon, will be The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. The next book on my list.
Heard that book. Nice.
But I mean, there's a huge list of books in the Discord that, you know, I recommend everyone pile through. And then both of Jim's books are really good. They're not on Audible, so if you're not really a reader, it's kind of tough, but, you know, they're all on there, so.
The seller at the quarter. So.
We don't see what he's seeing on Sierra charts. Yeah, this is Sierra charts right here. Yeah, I mean, I could trade just off of this TPO, and I could still identify these trap traders because we came right here and then popped right back up and never looked back. Right? So as we broke that half back, sellers tried to pile in. They got trapped there. I mean, it was the weak spot on the profile before, and when it popped back up, it never came back down. It takes time, though. It does take time and a lot of repetition and things like that. And they're still trapped down there. 39 contracts traded on that low tick. Yeah,
I do have a question about the charts, Brad.
Yeah.
Because mine doesn't look the same as yours either. I have my E period going 3 ticks below the D halfback. And that lines up with the POC. So basically your D halfback is below where my D halfback is. I'm just, and I don't know if that's a chart setting or since you get your.
Are you on MES or ES?
I'm on the ES.
Okay.
I trade the MES. I just have it in the background, so I don't see the MES chart.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, Dr.
can
VJ the
set-
Dom. Yeah.
Pop, you can set Sierra charts to look at the ES and trade the MES on the same screen.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have Ninja, but that's what I do.
Gotcha.
And that could be the reason too, is that the difference between Ninja and just how it picks the point of control, right? Because so the way that Sierra chart is calculating it is treating the widest part of the profile closest to the volume point of control. So if yours is showing it here, it's because it's closest to price. That's the only difference. But I mean, really, all 4 of these TPOs, that's the TPOC.
Yeah. Okay.
How could I tell that they were sellers and not buyers at the 54? Really just more of a feeling. There's no way to know for sure, right? We don't have any absolutes here, but based off of just how the market acted and how long I've been doing this and how many times I've kind of seen this, you know what I mean? Like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, I won't get fooled again, George Bush. But basically just, it popped down and volume came in, but then it popped back up and didn't trade anymore. And then when I'm looking at the DOM, I see, those contracts traded, but when you, and I am 100% believer in this, if you cannot trade successfully with just the TPO, adding these other tools, although they may keep you on sides a lot, like the tick, I do love the tick, but adding other tools are really just going to give you that cognitive dissonance that Jim Dalton talks about, where you're just overwhelming yourself. It's like when I see people with their charts and they've got fucking Fibonacci's and moving averages and, lefty loosies and fiddle faddles, right? It's like, oh my gosh, which one are you using? And then, they get on YouTube and they're like, they erase all the other bullshit that was on their chart because they find the one that it bounced off of and see it worked perfectly. And then they take a picture and post it and then post their fake gains. And it's like, and then they, just try to peddle you bullshit. I mean, nothing is going to be experience, right? And I'm not saying the TPO is the holy grail. It's just what easily makes my brain understand the auction process, which is what the market is. And that's really the biggest barrier, I guess, for most people, is to really understand that the market is just a two-way auction process. Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate it, man. And hopefully you're in the Discord. What's up, TJ?
So I'm debating a short, depending on how this price action comes in around this D high right here.
Right. Yeah. If they can't get above this volume nodule, but I mean, there's just so much selling on the 60, and no movement below it. So I wouldn't, but there's opportunity on both sides, right? Definitely, especially when you're, you only need the market to move so far to make a buck.
Yeah, this is kind of a chop zone. So I think
Definitely.
whichever direction.
That's actually a perfect explanation too. It's think about, the E period, right, is still inside this D period, and it looks to be balancing, right? We've just been kind of back and forth, back and forth. We have a mechanical low, so that's a lack of supply, but we also have a poor high, so a lack of demand, and that is a good identification. Any way that we go, as long as we get some volume, good idea to go with. And remember, a lot of these principles that we apply to a daily chart can be applied intraday on your on your your TPO, your 30-minute chart. You just have to be able to also implement the back end where you get out of a trade if it doesn't go your way. And that's where most people fail, and that's a psychology issue. Yeah, Johnny, that's such a key thing is, are we going to get value developing higher, or is price going to revert and come back to the value? What's Dan Niles saying?
What do you think that means, Brad? Where you keep seeing like it just rip down, then rips back down, rips up. It's like,
Well, I haven't seen it rip at all, but it's just indecision up here, because the market is, as we're getting close to, where it wants to rotate, which is up here to this 69, that's at top of that previous value. You have to find initiated buyers, so buyers willing to come in and buy at higher prices. And that typically is a little bit more difficult to find than to find sellers that are willing to sell at lower prices out of a panic. But so if you're not in a trade right now, what I would recommend is just stay completely flat and wait for that D high to break, or wait for wait for us to push back down below that E low and watch the volume come in. If we get volume on either side, you want to be going with it. A lot of those books are on YouTube. Oh, nice. Yeah, and that's another thing too. If you can find them on YouTube, and that's money right there. Amazon revenue up 44% year over year, quarter 4 and 20, quarter 1 21 from pandemic benefits. After year of slowing growth, plus 6% forecast for quarter 2 of 2022. Prime Day, however, was 18% growth versus last year of 8%. Bought Amazon and pairs well against internet ad related shorts. Also grew retail shares in 08-09 recession, growing 28 to 29. That's from Dan Niles.
We get over this 62 quarter right here and clean that seller. Probably catch a bid. Might run the D high right there.
Yes. Feel the force. Just give us the 66 quarter already. What's this thing doing with us? I'm gonna have to force this thing up myself, I swear to God.
will you just take profit, Brad? You greedy bastard, take
Never!
profit. Join the dark side.
Dude, I told you I'll sell it back to you at 66. It's wait up there and you can have it. Unless it keeps going, and then I'm gonna look for 71.
Just take it at 61, you greedy bastard. Just sell. Sell with me. You're gonna want to catch this move, dude. It's getting ready to shit off the cliff here.
Yeah, we can't move this person at 62 and a quarter. Then I think we're gonna rotate. That's my flip zone. 62 and a quarter.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, I think they're getting ready to pump this thing up. That's what it looks like. Because they've had so many opportunities to just pop this low and just run this thing down, and they just haven't done it, which tells me there's too many buyers buying up here, which is not good for me, but
The longer we spend up here too, the buyers are probably actually the shorts that are covering, getting out of their positions slowly, you know, the longer we linger up here. So
mm-hmm.
it's kind of propping it up. And for me, I'm watching 62.25. Depending on the order flow we get right there, it's gonna tell me.
Jared's going through the full psychology of trader here. Now he's in despair,
I'm not even in
trying to reverse psychology.
Nah,
Oh shit!
I'm not
Trying to
even in
reverse
capitulation.
psychology the market. Like, yeah, it's probably gonna go up, and he's in a short. You're mind trapping yourself. Ranko, you see the shorts coming in?
A lot of sellers right here. Yeah, it just makes me, I agree with you guys, which is sad, you know. I agree with you guys. The more time we spend up here, you know, they're just getting ready to blow this top and run it up to your 66.
I think TJ was actually saying the opposite. He was saying like the more time that we spend up here without going higher,
Without breaking, yeah.
the better odds that we rotate back down. But we're seeing volume start to form up here, and we have this weak spot here kind of at this 59. Might pull back, you said, Ranko? Yeah, and the key will be if it does come down, you know, look for it to push below this E low. If they can't get back below that E low, they are trapped on that 56. And if they can't get back down there, then even if it comes back down to here 57, you see a little bit of, you know, weak volume here on that 57 still, and they can't push it back down, then there's no reason to just be trying to get short thinking that this may be the top. We don't really try here at the trade vets to decide when the top or when the bottom is. We just try to go with the bigger players. Still a poor high. Let's see if we can find some buying up here. Sellers trying to offer a 63.25.
If the shorts cover.
90 contracts, 100 contracts on the top tick, 110. There is some supply here. They're trying it. 275, they're selling it. So again, lack of demand at the high there. But we're still kind of balancing inside this period so far. From that 65 to 63 half. Big offer moving down here on the 61 half. 251 lots. Still about 2 points away. Let's see how it goes. Sellers trapping themselves in this 60 maybe. Oh, offers moving down. Yeah, I imagine that they're probably Audible if they're on YouTube. I'm not sure which books though. Well, I use that Audible app. So watch as it comes down to the 57. I'm looking, there's a offer on the 6150. I'd like to see it move down. They're offering lower. There they go. They're moved down. See if they can hold. They're offering this 58.5. Look at the volume grow right there on that on this 58.5. 4,000. A hold. They're trying. They lost it. Lost that love and feeling, now it's gone, gone, gone. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Back to that 58.5.
Turn around and hurt you. Just give me a push down to 55, 53, you know, no big deal.
The red, white, and blue volume to the right on your chart is the volume for the current period. No, that's for just the last 30 minutes. So I mean, pretty close to just E period so far because we've been up here for so long. But it's the last 30 minutes, not the period. See, there are dumb questions. I mean, does it just send you to the Audible app? Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. $61.50 still 370 contracts sitting up there. Above that 61.50, that's when the high will get taken. So as long as the market stays below 61.50, you know, I think that you're okay. But as soon as it gets above 61.50, I think that's when this thing will pop the top.
Dark side.
Those poor bastards just trapped down on the 56 again.
No, they're not, Brad. We are not trapped. We are getting ready to be deep into profit. Power of positive thinking.
Taking some more lunch money here off those 56 quarters where that fill was at for me.
Don't you buy it. Don't you buy it.
I told you that's where I'm going to buy it. I'm going to keep buying it right there until they decide to actually show some life. I mean, these are quick trades, right? Like, I already took profit on that one. My average is a lot lower here. Only have 2 lots on. But my stop is at 55.50. So we break that 55.50, you guys can have it to the downside.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But until then, off the DOM, John. I'm reading the levels off the DOM. You could use the DOM. If you don't like the DOM, you could pull up like an order flow chart. That would work as well. I just don't recommend an order flow chart on anything less than 30 minutes because there's just a lot of fake signals in there. So they're trying it. 9 contracts on that low trade right there. 11, 47, 48, 50, 60. There you go. You're actually having some size selling coming in here. Trying to push it lower. It seems like there's a bid just slowly sucking all this in. Right down to the point of control. How does an order flow have more fake signals? Just, I mean, like, so when you're on like a shorter term order flow, like maybe like a 5-minute or like a 1-minute order flow chart, you're just going to see all these imbalances and all this other bullcrap that they toss in there to try to trick people into getting in. You know, whether the trade trades on the bid or the ask is not really that important. The actual importance is the amount of volume. 6 contracts trade on that low tick here. If this thing rotates back up above 56, you're gonna probably see a test back of that 60 and a break of the 60, take us over 61.5, and that over that 61.5 I think is a repair of that poor high here. They're keeping it down though so far. Haven't seen any short covering yet, really. Just absorption is what it looks like down here. Just looks like there's just a lack of sellers down there.
Yeah, I took profit at 54.5 or 54.55.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, it's like that analysis paralysis, right? You start to add all these things to your chart, and then you're like, oh, you see it once on the order flow chart, and you're like, oh, here it is again, and then you do it, and it goes the opposite way. It's just different every time, and it kind of blinds people to paying attention to context, which is why, you know, always the TPO chart really does keep everybody in context, in good context here. The Apple's looking to break its low of the day here too. Could definitely bring the market down. F period opening up. Weak low and a poor high. Weak high and poor high, same idea. Patrick, good morning, man. There they go. They clean it up. So watch for volume to follow here. 1 tick. Not really too impressed. More selling. Offer is like 56.5 to 57 still. I'm offering going on here at 54.75 as well.
I'd like to see it come up to like the 58.60 area and fail.
I'd like to see it come up to like the 39.22 level. All right, bro. We'll catch you later, man.
Nice. I got out. Oof. See? Ooh. 2,200 profit.
How much heat did you take? Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
hey, hey. I don't want to hear it. Enough of that. Yeah, I took a lot.
Keep gambling. One of these days, this thing's gonna kill you.
It wasn't no guess, Brad. I knew we were
You-
coming back.
Or
Yeah,
your own money.
we rotated down like less than 10 points.
Wow, it's all I needed.
Yeah, I mean, praise the Lord that it did, so you could get out on some profit. But if you would have just been going with the market, you could have had less lots on, taking less heat and more profit easily. And that's not a guess.
I know I would have made about $4,000 now. Son
Ma-
of a bitch. Yeah,
Would
don't
have,
know
could
what the
have,
bottoms
should
are.
have. Those are mind
Yep.
traps.
Yep. So is this
Take a
where
peek
I
at the
add on,
volume.
get back in, Brad? Short? That's how I got stuck last time.
Yeah, don't do it. Wait for the
Yeah.
retrade.
Volume's drying up here about 5%, 5.5% less than the previous day. I mean, if they can keep this thing below 57, there's definitely good odds for downside. But really, I think above that 57, would probably go back and test that 61. And then if it does break that 61, maybe 62.5 might have some selling on it. But other than that, it's just upside forever.
That's funny. Don't do it.
No FOMO.
Right, Tommy. So yeah, so as we have this early cessation of one time framing, there is decent odds that we get a more rotational market. The market's been pretty rotational for the past two periods anyways. But if we have supply, we'll definitely come down and try to take this D low, right? And you can kind of see almost a double distribution starting to form. I know we have, 3 TPOs down here, but we've got weak volume, big volume down here, big volume up here. So it's kind of like a double distribution profile. So until really this F period is able to rotate back down into volume, there's really no need to be getting short. And this happened, I mean, this is real similar to yesterday, right? If we take a look at yesterday's profile, right? The ranges were a lot bigger. But we had F period put in that poor high, came back down. G period had a cessation of that one time framing, cleaned up one of the mechanical levels, couldn't get back down to where all the volume was at, and then ended up rotating up for the rest of the day. So here's the 57. This is the level that these sellers are going to have to be active at.
It's interesting how all the markets trade the same, though.
And you know why, right?
Psychology. I guess.
Psychology, right? Think about the participants or or your competitors, right? It's the psychology of the market. So if you can understand the psychology of a trader, a lot of times, people are creatures of habit and they're going to just do the same things that they do. That's how I knew earlier Jared was short before he even said it, because it just made sense that a lot of people would get short right there.
Man, hit the 58, but didn't get filled.
The U.S. Navy's doing manned, unmanned teaming with the Super Hornet flights today. That's probably pretty cool to watch. ESPN Plus streaming monthly price will rise 43%. Disney says. The DAX is down or finished down 0.1 today. FTSE finished down 0.2. And the France 40 finished down 0.2. Wall Street and the S&P 500 are the leaders today.
I would have, Brad, I just asked you like 5 questions and I was on mute. So what do you think if we're on the
Why is
50,
he
if
ignoring
it
me?
breaks the 57, are we probably go up to 66? And if we stay below the 57, we'll probably come back down?
Well,
Is what you're kinda thinking?
there will be a battle at the 61. I think above 61, we're gonna probably trade up here to that 66, but yeah, 57 seems like an area where these offers keep stepping down to try to hold price below. But 60's been actually 60 to 61's been kind of a big area today. There's just that offer sitting on the 6150. It's 368 lots, and above that, I think that those shorts really start to capitulate, and we're getting close to, but it's noon, so a lot of Wall Street traders. I mean, it's summertime also, but even a lot of the junior execs gotta eat lunch, so. The VWAP is starting to flatten out, sitting down at 46 as well. And looked like we had some, I mean, really like profit taking from sellers down on that 52.75, and then profit takers from buyers sitting up on the 57. Yeah, it's a tough call here. Weak spot in the profile right here. You can see it. 696. Volume starting to come in. So watch how it ticks here. So okay, it ticks up, ticks down, ticks back up. Volume comes in, ticks down, back, testing. See, so there you go. So there's the seller. We just saw him sitting right there, 53.5, 53.75. Looking to clean up this mechanical low here.
Dang. If only I didn't have bunny balls, Brad, I would have nailed that trade. I got out for a little profit because I averaged in so much at 54. Ugh, I would have nailed that. I had on 18.
Remember that you can take trades that are winning that are still bad trades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is what you were doing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I'm the king of it. I've done it every day for 3 months straight.
Yeah. It's just not a sustainable practice
it's not.
long term.
I know. My luck will run out, Brad. I'm not in denial. Okay.
What's a bad winning trade?
Well, okay, so what Brad's saying
Shorting
is
a
like,
one-time framing market that's going up. That's a bad, I mean, yeah, it worked this time, but this could have easily broken off and continued the trend to the upside and,
and stayed up there.
caused
Yeah.
significant emotional damage.
But you got to bet big to win big.
Yeah.
You got,
No, that was not a
Jesus.
strategy. That was totally a joke. Jared, don't agree with me.
No, hey, like me and Brad definitely have different styles, and his is like actual trading. Mine is just like I tried to play the game. I just try to
No.
play the game. Like
It's more
it goes up, it goes down, and it's
you.
like I try to not get out of trades because so many times I've been down 4 grand, 5 grand, and I'll close it, and then it comes back my way, and then I'm like raging because I'm like, why did I even get out of it? And then now I just stay in the trade, and it always seems to come back my way.
You play like me. It's you take the dice in your hand, you blow on them for good luck, and throw it.
and then you just don't say the number 7.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
I do that all the time. I get in too early on trades, and then if I leave my stops there, I get taken out, and then I watch the trade that I thought would happen. And I get
Exactly. So
so
I started to rage and do that, and Brad will tell you that how I trade is not how anybody should trade, but I mean, I haven't had a losing day in 3 months trading
and
every
we'll
single
check
day.
in with Jared, you know, a year from now and see what
No,
is.
no, it could be next month and I'll just lose it all because I won't let it go. You know, I'll just
That's
follow it all the
So
way up.
you've never had one day where you were actually
the
down,
wash
even
bay.
based on fees?
You read the
No.
whole message.
No, I've made over
Service completed in
2,000.
the wash bay. About 20 minutes. I'm doing the paperwork. Okay, perfect.
No, Stacy, I've made
What's
made
that
over,
guy that's not on mute? What's he doing?
yeah, I don't know, but I've made over 2 grand every single day for the last 3 months.
Wow.
I haven't had a losing day, but how I get there is very questionable. Like I've had days where, like Brad will tell you, the one day I was down 56,000.
So
And
here's the question I would ask you then.
okay,
Because I've definitely been, I've never been down 56,000, but I have been definitely, I've been down like 8 grand in a single day.
Mhm.
And was able to pull it back and only be down 3 grand at the end of the day or whatever it was.
Mhm.
But here's the question I would ask you is, number one, do you like trading that way? Do you feel like that is a successful plan?
well, we know he's into
Mm.
punishment, so
And here's the reason why I'm
No.
asking this, because I did the exact same thing. I mean, I did this so many. I mean, there were just so many days, and so I had like I mean, I've been playing this stuff since end of 2020, and then I started like creating spreadsheets and started looking at numbers and started figuring things out, and I was playing all the way through March of 2021, and then my bonuses came through, and I'll just tell you that the company I work for, they give very large bonuses. So
Okay.
I had enough to be able to put 25K in my account so that I could do day trading and I
Yeah.
wouldn't get penalized. And in that time frame, within the first probably 2 weeks, I lost about, I don't know, I was 8K down, or maybe I was even 10K down. And then I did one last trade toward the end of the day, and I made it all back. And then I was basically like break even or maybe 1K down.
Okay.
And it freaked me out. But the very next day, I did the exact same thing. And I ended up being, I think I was down like 8K that next day. And I was just like, well, screw this. I am basically throwing money and praying for the best. And and I did kind of what you were saying, where you like get into a trade and hope that it does what you're going to do. And I realized I have no strategy. I'm not even lacking strategy. I am freaking against every strategy. I'm doing the exact opposite. It was the thing like you were saying, where if I buy a put, definitely buy a call because it's going to go up.
Yeah, instantly. Yeah.
So I was doing that over and over and over and over again. And then I realized, and then that was when my brother told me that Brad was playing, and I was just like, well, I should talk to him. And then he talked to me about TPO. And then that was when my mind got into the numbers. And then it was like, okay, so now I have a strategy. And so then I started playing with it with an actual strategy in paper, mind you, because I freaking threw my money into a savings, what I had left, like 20K into a savings account, and said, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm going to wait until I am actually stable enough to be able to do this. And Brad showed me the TPO, and then I started playing every day in paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I was winning every day, kind of like you were doing. There were some days that I was doing bad things, but for the most part, I was consistent. And then that was when I started to create the coding around what I do that ultimately led me to be able to create the bot. And once I created the bot and I did back testing, I kind of haven't looked back, just because the bot is consistent. I mean, it loses money some days, but it's consistent. And based on the way that it's working, I can just ramp it up. But the key for me, I guess, that I'm trying to get to is that was my strategy to get out of that emotional freaking whirlwind. And I guess I want to ask you is, what is your goal with this? Because you're saying you could lose it all tomorrow, and I'm imagining that's not your goal.
Yeah.
So the question I
No.
would ask you is, because here's the deal. My strategy was to throw everything in a savings account and only have, I think I had in my account like 2 grand. So I couldn't F myself up in a single day. That
Well,
was my
okay,
strategy of getting out of that cycle.
well, I almost feel bad at even saying this in the chat, because what Brad's teaching you guys is like real trading, right? Like he's very good at what he does. But how I trade is I literally, and Brad will say this is the dumbest thing he's ever heard, but how I trade is I literally just, I figure it this way, right? You can turn any trade into a winner.
True.
Like you can enter in
It's
any,
all about how much money you throw at it when you get into the wrong direction.
correct. So you can go long, right? And it could go your way or it could not go your way. You can go short and it can go your way, not go your way. But any trade you enter, so like let's say right here I put on 2 lots going short and it goes up 5 points. Well, if I put on 6 more lots up at the top and
I totally understand. No,
yeah.
I've done those calculations, and even my bot does do that. It hedges it.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but
all
it
I'm
does,
saying
but
is I feel
but
like
it
I can
only
turn any trade into winner, and that's not a narcissistic thing. It's literally just that I've seen it work. It
So I'm
does
just
work.
gonna tell you, and I know that, and I'm saying this only because this happened to me one day,
Okay.
and I don't remember when it was, but I think it was probably about 4 months ago. I got into a trade, and Brad was like, "Hey, market's gonna go up," blah, blah. And I was like, "F that! I'm getting into a call or put. I'm getting
Yeah.
into a put." And I freaking rode that thing all the way, and I kept like I was going, "Okay, we've reached the peak," and I would double down, and then we'd go up again, and and another, I don't know, couple bucks, and I was like, "All right, double down," and I kept doing that. And
Mhm.
you know what happened? It went fucking up the whole day, literally all the way up to the closing bell. And
Oh.
here's the thing: I've got Brad in my ear saying it's going up. The
Yes.
trend is that
All
it's moving
signs are
up, and
telling
he
you.
all
Yeah.
and he was like, and he was looking at the trends, and I was listening to it, and I was looking at my freaking numbers were telling me it's going up,
Mhm.
but I was so focused on on exactly what you just said. I can make every trade a winning trade,
Mhm.
and I
And
lost.
and the worst part is like when you got Brad in your ear because then you know you're fucking wrong.
And well, and
Right? Like,
that's what I'm saying is that was the point where I realized I can't continue this way, or I'm just gonna. I mean, I might as well fucking put it in the fireplace and just start it on fire every time I decide that I want to invest in this. It's the same thing, because
well,
whether I'm
the shitty
what
part is whenever you enter a trade and you didn't hear from Brad first. So like, I might enter a short and then Brad's like, all right, we're going up from here. And then I'm like,
yeah.
oh fuck. It's like
Well,
if he had
How's the
just
perk?
not said that yet, and then he told me that, I'd be in along, I would just
Well,
trust.
but that's the question I'm asking you is what
you
is your
say?
strategy to get out of that cycle? Because there will be a point. I mean, and I'll say this because I'm looking at the way my bot does its trading, and there are days when that bot will continue to double down and double down and double down. Mind you, it's only dealing with 1-2 contracts. It's not, and I mean, the biggest day of loss for my bot is like $800.
Mm-hmm.
And that's based on historical testing. So it's not that I haven't actually had a day of losing $800, but that's based on historical testing. So what I'm telling you is there will be a point where it will not work.
Yes.
And so the question I'm asking you is, are you trying to get out of that cycle, or are you just going to say, F it, I'm riding this thing to the end? And then I guess what is your
Well, okay.
backup plan? Because if you fucking spend all
Okay.
your money and you're
So
underwater, then you're
so
toast.
okay. I don't think I would ever lose everything. I think I have enough, somewhat restraint to not be like, okay, I'm gonna blow a couple $100,000 or something, But at the same time, I have
Yeah.
done a lot of heat before. But what I'm saying is I'll take the heat to a very extreme level, but at the same time, I wouldn't let I don't know if I would change my strategy because it's worked, 90 days in a row. So would I really let one day change 90 days in the green? I probably wouldn't, to answer your question.
Fine.
Well,
didn't touch
then I guess then you've got your strategy. That's your strategy, is to say, to hell with caution, I'm gonna go after it.
Yeah, I know. Like,
And that is a strategy, or the lack of a strategy is still a strategy. It's just like the people that say, I don't like to play, I don't like to play politics at work. And there's two kinds of people. There's the people who play politics and know they're playing politics and are trying to do it well or bad, is irrelevant. And then there are people who don't know they're playing politics, but are still playing politics. They're just playing it very bad.
mm-hmm.
So you're playing with a strategy of no strategy.
A very bad strategy.
That is exactly right. So you're still playing with a strategy. It's just a F it. It's an emotional strategy.
You know, I haven't gotten too emotional except that one day. The 56 grand day was that was an emotional day. I was in full blown panic.
But Jared, is your strategy working just because the last 3 months we've been pretty much just ranging? I mean, what about when the
No,
market shoots way up, or eventually it's
no,
going to? I mean,
no,
or
there
way
was
down. One
like
of the two.
I wasn't even totally sweating that trade earlier. Like that's what
No.
I'm saying. No, like 5-6 grand for me now is like
I'm
I've
just saying,
taken
like,
that heat
market.
just about every day. So Brad will tell you that's the dumbest thing he's ever heard.
Yeah, when I was taking that short, I waited for the retrace at 58, tight stop loss, 1 or 2 lots. I'm definitely not trying to risk anything.
Yeah, well, you played it very, very smart.
Yeah, I mean, the real strategy is just trying to understand the two-way auction, right? The two-way auction process is just understanding that and how it's going. It is really the best road, the best. I mean, I don't want to say the best strategy, but that's the strategy that works for me, right? This strategy has been working for Jared for 3 months, like he said. But if Jared never ever wants to work again, this is just not a sustainable strategy for years and years and years, right? Jared's the same age as me, so he's got some working years left in him, and it's long term. It's just some of the best traders, like I talked about yesterday. You'll have these traders that'll have 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million years, or trading profits in a single year, and then the next year they lost it all, right? It's a lot more common than you would think.
Yeah, I hear Mark Douglas say that a lot in some of the videos.
But also, don't you think the strategy's working just because we have been ranging for the last 3 months? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't it seem like at one point the market's either going to go way up or way down, and then that strategy's not going to work? It's not going to come back to.
Well,
Your
and
strategy's basically-
that's the thing is, like, as you improve, if you just focus on improving, like, Jared came into the day with a negative bias, and there's nothing wrong with coming into the day with a bias. That's actually pretty normal. But when the market doesn't confirm your bias and you still trade your bias, that's what is dangerous. And yeah, just like you're saying, Kevin, like, easily today, if this top got taken off, Jared probably wouldn't have got out of that trade, and he would have just kept shorting, and he would have been in the punishment. That's why I said I think he's into that kind of shit. He likes to be punished.
I think that's the key though, is that,
He's
like,
into that kind of shit.
Does Jared own the
Jared-
house he lives in? No, no. He's getting ready to buy a
No.
house next year, he said.
Yeah.
I guess
Oh
the
my
only
God.
question I would ask you, Jared, is it working for you because you're lucky, or is it working for you because it works?
Because he's lucky.
I
And he
no,
knows it.
see, and I was gonna say, I think Brad. Okay, there's been like 2 times where I got lucky, and I knew I got lucky, right? Because it could have just went totally against me at the top, and because I put on 35 lots on 2 accounts at the top one time to get out of that $56,000 thing, and it did come my way, and it could have went really, really bad, right? So
So
there
that's
was like
luck.
a
That's like
couple
the
times- yeah, that
definition
was
of luck.
No,
So hold on.
that
So
was-
here's the
that was luck.
question
That
though.
was
Here's
2. I gave you 2. I said
here's
there
the
was 2
question
times
though.
I got lucky.
If it had not gone your way,
I would have got out.
you would have got out at what number?
So
Yeah,
it was right
0.
at the very top, and where it met resistance like 4 times. So right there, once it got up there again, I put on 35 lots on both accounts, and then it just shit off of a cliff, and I end up 6,800 profit that day.
But so
Yeah,
that,
but
and that's the thing is, like,
It was luck.
56 grand of, but I mean, even today, you said you're up like $1,800, but you took $6,500 of heat. That's
This
not.
is like this is like
know?
that scene in Top Gun where he does that, he puts on the brakes and he goes behind, and then he, takes the guy out, and
On the
Charlie's up
brakes.
there and she's
Bye,
talking
bye,
about
bye.
it. She says, I think we're using this as an example of what not to do.
Yeah.
It was a win, but this is an example of what not to do.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Don't listen to me. Listen to Brad. Like he is.
But
a
I guess I'm
very good
asking
trader.
you though. This is a question for you. If you see that and you recognize that statement that this is a win, but this is an example of what not to do.
Damn,
are
you
feeling?
feeling this kid.
Well, I'm just asking. I'm just trying to understand
No,
Really?
and
the logic.
no, and no, I okay, and I get it, but all I'm trying to say is there's more than one way to skin a cat, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
like,
you're proving it.
yeah, how I trade and how Brad trades are totally different. Now he trades with tons of reward and minimum risk, whereas I'll have, you know, tons of risk and
But you
reward
said
as
that there's
well.
you
But
said
I've
there's
just
no
figured out,
emotion. You
yeah,
said
I
there's
just
no emotion, but you said that it's but like if you come into the day with a bias, that's emotion, dude.
oh no, I'm always ready to catch a short. But ask Brad, like half of the money I've made in the last few months has actually been from longs. Like it's like almost 50-50. I've taken longs this much, I've taken shorts. But every day I'm ready to short this market. Like I can't wait to short this market. But if it's going up, I'll go up with it.
The
Well,
smart thing to do though would seem to short where you're normally doubling down, like enter your position there, and then you have a lot less risk.
You'd have to have good psychology and patience for that, TJ.
Yes. Okay. Hey, kill him.
Hey,
I'm
easy
glad
with
that it's
that.
winning. I'm glad that it's working for you. I that definitely just didn't work for me, and it caused me more angst. And I don't think that I ever could end the day and go, oh yeah, it was an okay day, or it was a bad, it was a whatever day. If I
Yeah.
was dealing with that kind of numbers and not, I don't know, that is not something I could do. So more power to you. That's awesome. I think that's great.
It's just so funny because like I watch Brad and Brad will send me screenshots and he's like, oh, I made 120 points today or whatever, he'll enter in a trade and he'll just stay in it, dude. And I mean, he'll just catch it perfectly. Whereas I'll enter the same trade and I'll ride the same wave with him, and except I'm just taking profit along the way. So I'm like 2 lots. Oh, I'm up 200, take profit. Oh, I'm up 200, take profit. Oh, 300, take profit. And I'll ride the same wave, but I won't stay in it. I take profit quickly and don't take losses quickly because every time I seem to take a loss, it always seems to come back my way. And that's what I figured out for the first like year or no, about 7 months of trading is it would almost always come back my direction. And I would get mad because I'm like, then I would really rage because I'm like, if I had just stayed in this freaking trade, I would have got out in profit. Well, I finally just told myself I wasn't doing that anymore, and it seems to be working, but there's going to be a day where it don't fucking work. and it's a little fearful at the same time. But as long as I feel like in my head, as long as I just keep playing the game, which is it goes up and it goes down, you can always average in or, you know, turn any trade into a winner, right?
There is only one constant in all of this, and that is the market giveth and the market taketh away.
Just like the
For
Bible.
sure.
Just like the Bible.
But you can every winner if the market turns around. And if it never turns around, then
See, like, and me, I want to get short again, like right here, just because it's like it has not broke that 55, and I'm like, oh, we're probably going down, but then again, I don't know, like right here, I don't like it. Now that it's shown me where it can get to, if it goes back up to the 65, 66, then I would probably short it.
So here's what I did today. So I actually got my bot never bought, and it did not purchase any options. And so I said, screw it, I want to play. So I switched over to paper, and I am currently doing what you said, buying it, keep buying. I'm currently $13,000 down in paper trade because I knew psychologically I was not in the right place, because if the bot doesn't play, then I don't play.
Are
Because
you in a
that
long
is
or
my
a short?
consistent. I'm in a short.
You're in a short. Okay.
And I
So
kept and I was like, oh, it's gonna go down, and then I would buy a little bit more, and then oh, it's gonna go down, and then I would buy a little bit more.
all right, so this is what you do. I'm gonna tell you, played the Jared game. This is where you put on
Oh, God.
30 more lots.
All right, everybody record this. Get the recorders on.
Oh my gosh! All right, Jared, lay me down, guy.
This
Lay
is
down.
how we do it. Hold on.
I'm gonna
Okay,
show you.
I'm ready.
You're gonna put
I'm
on
ready.
30. You're gonna put on 30 watts. Going short right here. Okay, you're gonna average in on that son bitch. All right. And I'm gonna show you. You're gonna be just fine.
Well, the good part is at the end of the day, this freaking 14 grand that I am currently down is irrelevant because it's all in paper. And I knew that I was not emotionally in a position to do it. And that was my mindset. That was my trading plan for today. If the bot doesn't buy, I don't do anything.
Smart.
And so I'm only in paper because that was my trading plan.
Nice.
But and I kept doing and I was doing like what you were saying. And the point I'm trying to make is that you can't always guarantee.
I guarantee that if you put on 30 watts right there, you'd be close to your break even.
but it still happens to travel
Definitely
a bit.
closer.
Anyway,
There's no
Well, I'm glad
trying
it's working
to
for you.
convince Jared of like changing his ways. He's just gonna be how he is. You just gotta, you know.
Dude, my dad taught me to count cards when I was like 5 years old. Okay, I'm a degenerate fucking gambler. Like I have it in
Hey,
me.
that's
like, it's
not
so
a
instilled.
degenerate move. Counting cards is actually a genius move.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying I've learned poker and blackjack, and I've been a gambler since fucking day one. Like I remember when I was like 6 years old and we were in Vegas, and I walked up to a slot and put $1 in, and my dad was like, "Yeah, let's see what he does."
This will give you guys a little bit of insight on to how much of a gambler Jared is. His apex reset number is unknown because he won't share it, and I know that it's over 400. So, you know,
Easy with that shit.
Entity symbol at the end.
400 times to get it.
I mean, it was so many times that he reset it that they shut it down, and they're like, "Yo, are you okay?" I thought he was leaning on the keyboard.
They would, yeah, they were literally like, "Yo, is this a stolen account or not?"
You're kidding me. So you reset that account so many times that they closed it.
They didn't close it. They just like they literally sent me an email like you know, just
Maybe
making
you
sure
should
this is
think
you.
about being a greeter at Walmart. Because obviously numbers are not your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, did
No,
they
it's-
find the end?
Well,
So-
in the beginning, for me, it was just like I just wanted to make real money, right? I was just like, I'm gonna get a PA account, like fucking come hell or high water, right? So I would have like 10, 15 resets in a day, and just keep reloading, throwing on 35 lots, and I'm like, okay, I get up to like 18 grand in the day, and I'm like, okay, cool, 2 more grand, you know, and then I'd get to 2 grand, I'd get a PA account, and I would trade the same way, right? I would just put on 20, 30 lots at a time. And I also know that if you put on 35 lots, you would already be in profit. By the way, it would have worked out. But just throwing that out there real quick.
Hold on, pause, just so you know.
Yeah. And then I finally had to change it to where I did listen to Brad. I started putting on 1 and 2 lot trades. And if I would get into like 300-400 profit, I would just take it. And then if I take heat, I still average in, but I don't average in like I used to. I used to, you know, just average in. If it even moved 3 points against me, I would put on 20 lots. Now it's like I'll let it run against me for a while before and see what I want to see before I put on more size.
When you're averaging in 30 lots, I'm just gonna say that's like that's not, you are no longer just like that's not like a rounding error.
Well, all I know is you'd be up about 10 grand right now.
Well, I'm actually back in green, but still, the point I'm trying to make is that this is not a winning strategy.
There's no
This
Uncle
is-
Stacy. There's no. You're beating a dead horse here.
This is a
It's not. It's not.
This is a deferred losing strategy.
I've
is what
got-
this is.
I've
I'm
got
like a dead
mad
donkey,
at
Brad.
Jared. Like I've literally got like, you know, like pissed off at Jared because he's like just, you know, well, if I average in, it's gonna be good, and I'm just like, Jared, no, that's not how this works. Oh, hang on, that's connection to my AirPods. Deal here. Oh, switch to my headphones. But when you think about it, like a 35 contracts is just, it's nothing, right? It's a drop in the bucket. That's it. Let's see. Rugsby said, when I started trading in 2005, I started with Forex, built up to 150 grand doing the martingale type the martingale type strategy, and then blew up my account in 2008. Since then, I rarely add to losers. Sooner or later, the market will bite you. Yeah. And then that's the thing. Yeah, Dr. VJ, you're right. As long as Jared has an account that's, you know, big enough to sustain that drawdown that he goes through, then he's not going to change. It'll be when, you know, a significant emotional event happens and he blows the account and he'll switch. But oh yeah, that sounds good.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
I said,
Oh yeah,
"Do you want one?"
sure. I'll walk down and grab them too. Just let me know. Oh, you're making them? Oh yeah, I'll definitely take
Yeah,
one.
I'm gonna make them up.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, he's like, I can keep printing. He's like, my money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I mean that's just like that's the thing is like I'm not dealing with absolutes. No, my stop was up there at that 50, what did I get closed out at? Let me see. 56 was my last lot that I had on, and that's where I got back ticked at. That was my last runner. Yeah, then you can go to Dr. VJ for some therapy and coaching. So above this 51 here, that's a weak spot here where some buyers got trapped. So above that, 55 would be that next target up. Yeah, and then we've got the VWAP right here below us, sitting at 46-ish. Volume's still moving down, so as long as they hold this below that 51, the downside's still okay. Right, it's not just money you're gambling with, right? You know, and I know, you know, Jared's probably the happiest he's been in a long time because he's a heavy equipment operator by trade, and he hasn't had to go sit in a hot tractor in Vegas in 120-degree heat. You know, and if he had to go back to that, you know, he wouldn't be the happiest camper, that's for sure. But for me, you know, I'm never ever gonna have 9 to 5 ever again. Unless it's like Red October, and my 9 to 5 will be fucking shooting Russians out of the sky. But I think it's about that time. Market's starting to just get slow, starting to range down. Typically right here, you know, like I said, people are probably at lunch. Around 1 o'clock, they'll start to pour back in and maybe make a decision from here. The volume has been just getting extremely light in these past couple of periods. We've been seeing slowly the volume start to decrease. The weighted sectors are still lagging behind the unweighted sectors here, as you can see, a little bit of a gap. The tick is making lower lows or lower highs, but hasn't really made any lower lows except for that most recent one here. Amazon, the reason I pulled up Amazon is because it's really close to its zero gamma level, and if it gets above that zero gamma level, we can expect market makers to start buying the stock, which could continue to move the market up. I think all eyes definitely still need to be focused on Apple. You know, if I had to drive this thing into a profile, I would say that this thing is starting to form a B shape, which is probably just an indication of people that have been long all week taking profit. So not really any supply, still even hasn't broke the pre-market low. So, you know, no like, you know, insane selling going on in Apple, mostly just the liquidation or probably profit taking. Other than that, you know, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. If you do not have a trade plan, don't trade. And if you don't know how to make a trade plan, definitely jump in our Discord. If you're watching this video after the video is already not live, just comment down below if you're looking for that Discord link and say, hey, I want to get in the Discord, and I will message you when I see the comment. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you all later.